Canada. Absolutely phenomenal. So we're going to have an amazing session. Like I said, today's session is fully packed. So ensure that you get your notepads, get your pen so you can jot things down and take things away from today's session. But let's dive in, right in. And I can see we have quite a number of amazing people from different regions across the globe. No matter where you are, today's session would open your eyes to the things you've been doing wrongly when trying to land a job. And for those of you who have been you're currently in the UK, you're in Canada, you're in the US, you're trying to get a job and you're finding it difficult, you'd find out the reasons why you are also finding it difficult. And for those moving to trying to get remote jobs, you are currently in Africa, I'll show you how I did it and how you can also do the same. All right, now let's dive in. So we're going to look at 3 key things today, or maybe 4 if we have enough time, okay? But the session would center around developing a strategy to land a visa sponsored job in the UK, remote jobs in Canada and in the US. And this cuts across all regions. It doesn't matter where you are, where you want to get those jobs, you'd get value from today's session. I'd help you answer 3 or 4 questions. Number 1 is, where are these remote visa sponsored jobs? Okay, where are the jobs? The jobs that are in high demand, where can I get them? Then would move into, what do I need to get these jobs from the employer's perspective? Not what we think the employers want, but what the employers actually want. And then, how can I start today? Okay, I'll answer all these 3 questions, and I have an amazing discount for every single one of you at the end of today's session. All right, so sit back, relax, take out your notepads, take out your pen, and let's have an amazing time together. Today's session will be practical. I'll show you websites, I'll show you platforms, I'll show you how to search for these jobs, I'll show you where to apply to get these jobs and strategies to deploy, most especially when you want to land visa sponsored jobs. For us at Tenalytics, we are the leading educational technology company, and the focus for us is helping Africans in Africa and Africans in the diaspora to secure high-paying jobs across different regions, from the US to the UK to Canada, across Europe, Africa, and so on. And over the last 4 years, we've helped over 2,855 people to make that transition from a previous background in care work, people working in the banking industry, they moved to Canada. Now they are data scientists, data analysts, HR analysts, project managers, cybersecurity professionals, and so on and so forth. And for me, my name is Adeza Suleiman. I'm a technology expert with over a decade experience in data analytics and management consulting. I've also worked as a data engineer. I'm the founder of Tenalytics and the co-founder of Amdari. And using these 2 platforms, we've helped more than 2,855 people with no prior tech background to make that transition into the tech ecosystem. My own first degree was in industrial chemistry. But then over the last decade, I've worked as a data analyst, management consultant, data engineer, data science consultant for companies in Canada, in the UK, and in the US. I've lived and I've worked in the UK. I live and I work in Canada at the moment. I've worked as a data analyst with one of the largest privately owned energy conglomerates in sub-Saharan Africa. And I've worked as a data analytics consultant with FITC, owned by the Bankers Committee and the Central Bank of Nigeria. And my experience spans across 5 different sectors, from sports to financial services, automobile, edtech, energy, and so on. So I'm going to dive into the nitty-gritty of the different things you can do to land a job. And I'd like our session to be as interactive as possible. I have my colleagues in the chat, so I'll pop in from time to time to take questions. All right. If you have questions, you can also drop it in the chat, but we'll have a Q&A towards the end of our session today, where I'll take all your questions and we'll have time to interact. Okay. Now let's dive in. The first question is, where are the jobs? So I'm in the UK, I want to land visa sponsored jobs. I'm in Nigeria, I want to get a job, I want to move to the UK. Where do I apply? How do I structure my strategy in a way that I have the higher chance, the higher possibility, and the eventual outcome of landing that job? that comes with visa sponsorship. Okay, so we're going to look at that, remote jobs as well. But we have to start from one place, which is, where are these jobs? Which career path should I focus on? Which career path would give me the opportunity to land a job the fastest? The in-demand career path. Okay, so if I want to know where to start from, I don't want to get into or jump into any career path. I want to do it methodically and have a strategy, selecting one career path that would get me that job. Now, what we do at Analytics is, every year we scrape data from the major job boards: CV Library, Monster, ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, and so on and so forth, across the three major economies, the UK, the US, and Canada. And what do we do with this data? We analyze and find the career path with the highest frequency of demand. The highest frequency of demand. So where are the jobs? We look for that, but we know that because a career path is in high demand does not mean that it is easy to learn or easy to transition into. Okay, so we also looked at the fact that we needed to filter these in-demand career paths based on these three criteria: ease of learning, ease of transitioning, high and rewarding salary. So ease of learning simply means, which career path can I get into? It's in high demand, first of all, and then I can learn within the space of 6 to 8 months. Not all career paths that are in high demand that would give you that opportunity to learn for 6 to 8 months. We can take blockchain engineering as an example. We can take full stack software development. That will take you roughly about 1 year to 18 months to learn before you can start to think about making a transition. Okay, so that's the first criterion we looked at. We looked at the second criterion, which is ease of transitioning. And this simply means career path whereby, as somebody who has studied industrial chemistry in the university, I can become a data analyst. Somebody who worked as an accountant back in Nigeria today is a business analyst. Somebody who was a care worker when they moved to the UK, today they are now data scientists. So we looked at the second criterion, ease of transitioning, and then we moved to high and rewarding salary. So the salary must also be fantastic. We use these three criteria to filter the in-demand jobs. And we came up with 8 career paths that, if you find yourself in any of these 8 career paths, you would not struggle to land a job. You get a job the fastest. These are the career paths that are in demand across the different economies: the business analyst, the agile project manager, the data analyst, the data scientist, the data engineer, the cybersecurity analyst, the financial analyst, last but not the least, the HR analyst. Now, when we saw this, we realized that, okay, we needed to find out, are there any reputable organizations who have carried out a similar research or similar analysis, so we can see if what we've done or the analysis we've carried out actually makes sense? So we decided to seek external validation, and we looked at one reputable organization, which is the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs Report. The World Economic Forum, every year over the last 8 to 10 years, have been releasing a report called the Future of Jobs Report. The latest was released in January 2025, and this shows you where the world is going in terms of job creation, the demand of jobs, and the jobs that will stay relevant over the next 5 to 10 years. So there is no better place for me to check which jobs are in demand today and which jobs would grow in demand. So at the left-hand side in this report, you have the jobs that would grow. At the right-hand side, you have the jobs that would decline. So a lot of people decide to chase a particular career path based on what their colleagues, their counterparts, their friends are doing. So I'm back in Nigeria. I have a friend in Canada. He or she recently got a job as a product manager. Because of that, I'm going to pursue product management. That's the way a lot of people take decisions. But you need to start taking decisions based on research, based on facts, data. Okay, where will the jobs be? Where are the jobs today, and where will they be in the next 5 to 10 years? So, looking at the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report, I've also kept the link right here, so you have access to the link to download the full report as a PDF document. And I would implore every single one of you to read this report because it shows clearly where the world would be. And if you're somebody who wants to stay relevant, get into a new career path, you are currently a care worker, you are currently working in the warehouse, you are currently doing 1 or 2 menial jobs because you really can't land a job that would give you career progression. You want to look at the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report. So we did that. We looked at the reports and looking at the jobs that would grow in demand. Number one on the list are the big data specialists, the data warehousing specialists, the data engineers. These are the data engineers, the professionals responsible for ensuring that data is available. Wherever data is created, the data can be available for everyone who needs to use that data. Those are the data engineers. So if you want to get access to these reports, to my slides, the recording of today's session, make sure you fill the attendance form. My colleagues would post the attendance in the chat. Make sure you fill the attendance form so you don't miss out on any of the materials we'll share at the end of today's session, including the link to the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report. So if you're a data engineer, for example, you know you're in the right career path. You're not just relevant and in a career path that is in demand today, you'd stay relevant over the next 5 to 10 years. Then you have the AI machine learning specialists, you have the data analyst and the data scientist. These are professionals that ensure that the data that the data engineers have made available can be analyzed, right? So the data engineers are like the engineers that drill the crude oil from the ground. When you drill crude oil is useless until you refine that crude oil. Okay. So the data engineers, they drill and get the data. The data is useless until you can refine that data to extract information and insights. The data engineers would make the data available. The data analysts, the data scientists would analyze that data to extract insights for businesses to take decisions. So if you're a data analyst, you're a data scientist, you're a machine learning specialist, you are in AI, you are in a career path that would grow in demand and is already in demand today and will keep on being relevant. Then you have the information security analysts. These are the cyber security professionals. If you're in cybersecurity, you help protect the systems, protect the data, protect the network of organizations. You are in demand today and you'd keep on staying in demand and being relevant over the next few years. You have the digital transformation specialist, the process automation specialist. These are the business analysts. If you're a business analyst today, you're in a fantastic career path. You have the HR analyst, the organizational development specialist. You have the business intelligence analyst, a BI analyst. Business intelligence is a derivative of data analytics. So as a data analyst, you can apply to BI analyst roles. So when you see BI analyst, business intelligence, it is is a subset of data analytics, a derivative of data analytics. So if you find yourself in business intelligence, database architects, these are still the data engineers. You have the project managers, but not the conventional, traditional project managers. This time around, the agile project managers, or you can also call them the IT project managers. So they are project managers that don't focus on construction, buildings, and all of that. They don't focus on the traditional project management, as you know. They focus on IT related projects, digital products, and so on and so forth. All right. So you want to find yourself as an agile project manager, a business analyst, a HR analyst, and so on and so forth. Okay. So we looked at the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs reports, and we could tell clearly that we did not make a mistake in the analysis we had carried out, analyzing the different job boards, looking for the jobs that are in demand and meets the three criteria of easy to learn, easy to transition, high and rewarding salary. Now, if you're also in these regions, in the UK, for example, or you want to get a job in the UK and you want that job to come with sponsorship, it's also good when you look at things from the broader level across the globe. You now want to narrow it down to specific regions. So what we did was to also highlight, where do you check to find these in-demand jobs? So in the UK, for example, I've been in the UK, I went to the UK for my master's, and I want to get a job. What do I do? How do I search? Which jobs should I focus on? Which skills do I need to learn? Hone those skills and start to apply to jobs. So one of the places we advise you to check is also the UK government website, searching for eligible occupations for the skilled worker visa. So the skilled worker visa is your tier two. When you have sponsorship, you get a COS, a certificate of sponsorship from an organization. Then you take that to the home office, you apply, and then you get your skilled worker visa. Typically, it could range, across different timelines for 3 years, for 5 years. You want to get the 5 years because you're on a skilled worker visa for 5 years. After the fifth year, you apply for your ILR, indefinite leave to remain, and then you apply for citizenship afterwards. Okay. So, one of the things we're going to do, we're going to check the UK government's website for the eligible occupations. So, you don't want to get into any occupation, you want to get into an occupation that is eligible for the skilled worker visa. Okay. So, let's click on that, and it's going to take us to the UK government website. And I'll highlight a couple of these career paths that I listed, the 8 of them that you want to focus on. But let's go to the government website first. So this was updated this month on the 9th of April. The last time it was updated was I think, in February. Then it was recently updated about 3 days ago. Okay. So this is where you find the jobs with the job codes for the skilled worker visa. So let's take, for example, one of you who said you are joining us from the UK from, let me see if I can find anyone. Okay, so Undubusi is joining us from London, for example. Undubusi is looking for sponsorship. He wants to get a company to sponsor. Now, he's found a company that has the license to sponsor. Let's say he's found Ernst & Young or PwC, and he got a job offer from them. Not every single job role is eligible for sponsorship. Okay, and that's why this is important. You want to look for, first of all, the organization that has the license to sponsor. Then the job role itself, that job you're applying to, you want to be sure that it is eligible for the skilled worker visa. That's when you can get your certificate of sponsorship. You meet all the other criteria. Of course, one of them is you must have the salary threshold of £38,700 per annum for you to qualify for that. Okay, so let's look at some of the codes. So here you have the occupation code, the job type, related job titles, and if it's eligible for the skilled worker visa, yes or no. Okay, so let's check for the business analyst. Let's start with that. The business analyst job code is 2133. And I'm going to share the codes with you in my slides. I have everything on my slides. So, like I mentioned earlier, make sure you fill the attendance. You don't miss out on all the information I'll be giving out today. If you have the attendance, you feel that, you'll get the recording, you get my slides and all the other materials. Now, let's go to the code 2133. Let me maximize this so we can see it a bit better. Okay, I think is large enough. So I'll scroll all the way down to 2133. Okay, at the moment I go to 2133, what do I see? The IT business analyst. Is this eligible for the skilled worker visa? Yes. And there are other subsets of different other roles within the IT business analyst, the architects and system designers. So if I get a job in any of these subcategories, I also qualify for the skilled worker visa. Let's check another one. Let's check the data analyst. And I'm going to scroll all the way down to 3544. Okay, code 3544. And there you'd see the data analyst. So if I get a job as a data analyst, is it eligible for the skilled worker visa? Yes. I want to check the cybersecurity analyst role. So I get a job in information security, cybersecurity, penetration tester, SOC analyst, GRC, any of those roles related to cybersecurity. The code is 2135. So I go all the way to 2135, and I'm going to find cybersecurity right there. So if I get a job as a governance specialist, I'm eligible for the skilled worker visa. If I get a job as a forensic computer specialist, I'm eligible for the skilled worker visa. So we narrow down to specific regions, and I can give you all the codes. We can't check all of them one after the other because of time, but I'll share the codes with you. You can do that and check at your own convenience. If you go to 2131, just a little bit above, you'd find the IT project managers. These are the agile project managers. This is where you want to be as a project manager. And I'll speak about that as we move on. So that's for the UK. For the US, you want to get a job in the US, you want to be sure that you are looking at job titles with highest H1B acceptance rates. Okay, you want to get sponsored. So just like your sponsorship in the UK, the H1B is pretty much similar in the US as well. The company would petition for a H1B for you, and then you get the H1B visa, you stay on that visa, and then you're eligible for the green card. Now, we're going to go into this, and I'll do this very quickly because of time as well. So we want to see some of the career path. Some of them that I've listed already. Are they available right here? So if I click on this, it takes me to H1B Info, a fantastic platform. I see the different job titles with the highest acceptance rates for H1B, and I can filter by different years. Okay, so I can click on 2025, which the data for 2025 is not up to date, but let's look at 2024. So I start to look at the job roles. I'll find it as part of the job titles with the highest H1B acceptance rates. I look at the data scientist, the project manager, all right? I scroll down a little bit more. The business analyst, you'd find the business analyst right there. Let's go to the next page and let's see if we can find other career paths as well. So this is how you want to start to check. So you know that you are joining a career path that is not just high in demand, but it is priority when it comes to getting sponsorship. You'd see the data analysts, you'd see the programmer analyst, which is pretty much a data scientist role, and so on and so forth. And you can keep on going through all the different career paths. That's how you want to check if you're in the US. And of course, if you're in Canada, there are so many ways to check. We always advise you check the provincial nominee programs, the PNP programs across different provinces. All right. This would help you identify the roles that are in shortage in those regions, which means the demand is also very high. Okay, so I just highlighted a few for you, and maybe we'll go to one or two of them. You have the Alberta PNP, that's the Alberta Tech Draws. You have that. You have I beg your pardon, the Ontario Tech Draws. You have the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program, the AAIP. You have the British Columbia Tech Talent Pilot. You have the Saskatchewan Tech Talent Pathway, and so many of them. Now, why is it important that we look at this? It's important because you want to see the jobs that are in shortage, the jobs that have priority to the government, where you can get provincial nomination and you can easily get your permanent residency in Canada. So if I click on one of them, let's check the Alberta PNP, the AAIP, for example, the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program. And here you would see the NOC codes, the job codes for the different job titles. You'd find the HR professionals, if you're a HR analyst, for example, if you're a data scientist, you're a cybersecurity specialist, you're a business systems analyst, that's a business analyst. You're a database analyst, data administrator, that's a data analyst role. Okay, so you find these career paths as priority to the government. Okay, priority to the government, which means if I get a job in any of these areas, I can easily qualify, get a provincial nomination. I have 600 points immediately, which is always above the point, the cutoff point for you to get invitation to apply for permanent residency. We can check the BC, the PMP, the Saskatchewan Tech Talent. Let's check the British Columbia Tech Pilots. If you click on that, it takes you to where you'd see the different pathways. And more importantly, you want to go to technology. Which career path in tech would get me the job the fastest? So the BCPMP offers skilled workers in select in-demand technology occupations, okay? Pathway to permanent residence and so on and so forth. You'd find the statisticians, these are your data scientists. You see the data scientists, you'd see the cybersecurity specialists, the business systems analysts. These are your business analysts. The database administrators, the database analysts. These are your data analysts. And if you scroll down, you see these career paths that are in demand. If I'm a data analyst, data scientist, data engineer, business analyst, cybersecurity analyst, I can easily get one of these jobs. So it's important that you know the career path that are in demand. And this is what we advise people to do. So quit listening to the opinion of what people have to say, but do your research, look at the different career paths, and there are 8 of them you want to consider. From the analysis we carry out at Tenalytics every single year, to the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs reports, to narrowing down to specific countries, specific regions. These are the 8 career paths that if you find yourself in any one of these, you won't struggle to land a job. The data analyst, the data scientist, the data engineer, the cybersecurity professionals, the business analysts, financial analysts, the HR analyst, and last but not the least, the agile project managers. So type into the chat. I want to know from you, which of these 8 career paths are you interested in? Okay, you can have more than one if you're not very sure, but type into the chat. I would like to know your thoughts. Out of these 8 career paths, which one of them are you interested in? Okay, so we have some feedback coming in. Temitope says data engineering. Adewale says agile project management. Fantastic. Nathan says agile project management, HR analytics. So let's keep it coming. Adeleke says computer vision engineer. Fantastic. As a computer vision engineer, you are simply a data scientist. And I'll show you the data science curriculum at Adeleke. It has computer vision as part of the things you'd learn as a data scientist. Damilola, business analyst, scrum master. Fantastic. Brilliant. Ken says business analyst. Omolola says data scientist. Yvonne says cyber security. Google Data Analytics is a waste of time. Daniels, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of your efforts. You don't learn anything useful. And I'll tell you the reason why. You learn technologies that are not relevant. For example, Google Sheets. You barely go into an organization that would require you to use Google Sheets to carry out your analytics, and is very limited when it comes to the ability to analyze data compared to Excel. You learn R instead of Python, and that's another, misnomer, something that shouldn't happen. Python is more recognized. Python is more adopted in the industry. Okay, so it's a waste of time, and anybody who I have the opportunity to advise, I tell them it's a waste of your time. You don't learn anything reasonable from there. Okay. Now, I've seen your feedback coming in. Fantastic. The next question is, what do I need to get these jobs? From the employer's perspective, what does the employer want from me? Most of the time, people apply to jobs based on what they think is correct or what they think is right. Oh, I think I should learn this. Oh, somebody said I need to have this certification. Oh, this other person says I need to do this. But the big question is, what do employers actually want? And based on our experience mentoring thousands and thousands of people, helping them secure jobs, employers want two things from you. Only two things. Number one, your skills. And number two, your experience. Your skills is what shows them that, okay, at least you have the basic fundamental required to do that job, which is usually the technical skill. So a lot of people focus on the technical skills and they ignore the employability skills. But skills must cut across two key areas, technical and employability. You can't do without the other. If you have the technical skills, you're the best in Excel, you're the best in computer vision, like the gentleman who wants to be a computer vision engineer. You can use different libraries, OpenCV, and so on that would help you build computer vision models. If you don't have the right CV, if you don't know how to answer competency-based questions during interviews, employability skills, you'll never get that job. So skills must you must cover the two, the technical and employability. Then you must show experience. And this is where a lot of people fail and a lot of people struggle, showing experience to do the job, showing that you've done it before and you can do it for them. So I'm going to walk you through exactly the exact steps you need to take right here and all the things you need to have from your skills to experience. Okay, so let's get into it. For the skills part, remember we have the technical skills and we have the employability skills. The mistake people make here in learning the technical, just like the gentleman who is doing the Google data something, like I always advise people, it's a waste of time. This is the mistake you are making. I made that mistake about 12 years ago when I was learning like you. And what was the mistake? I was learning everything everybody else was learning because I felt that was the right way to go. And I was learning in 100% self-paced platform. Do you know the danger about learning in a self-paced environment? 100% is you struggle to ask questions to professionals who have been on that job on the one hand. On the other hand, when you face a stumbling block, you face a challenge, it becomes difficult for you to surmount that challenge. It takes time. You you send a message, you don't get feedback on time, and then you get frustrated and you drop off. I have 1,001 courses on Udemy, 1,001 on Coursera. I never got to finish them because it's 100% self-paced. So that's the danger of learning in a self-paced, 100% self-paced environment. You don't want to make that mistake. It was a struggle for me and a struggle for so many people. It becomes difficult because you cannot interact with an industry professional, somebody who can sit down with you and show you the mistakes you are making at that moment and how to correct those mistakes. Okay. So I made a mistake about 12 years ago. You don't want to make that same mistake. The best way for you to learn is a blended learning approach. And the blended learning approach would contain the self-paced. So you have the self-paced part of your learning where you can log into the platform, you can watch your videos, work on projects at your own convenience, any day, anytime. And you must have the live instructor-led class. A live instructor-led class is where you join a class with a professional like myself, teaching you how to use tools and technologies, solving problems together. We use Tableau to solve a problem. We use Power BI to solve a problem. We use SQL to solve a problem. And you can stop, share your screen, ask questions. When you run one query and you don't get the same results, you can stop and ask, Adeza, How do you have a different result from mine? What am I doing wrong? And you can get instant feedback. If you don't have this, you take longer and you're likely going to get frustrated and drop off. Okay. So you must have a blended learning approach. Blended. A bit of self-paced and a bit of live instructor-led class, because you want to talk to professionals who have done it. You are in the UK, you want to get a job in the UK. You want to talk to somebody who has worked in the UK, who can mentor you around what you should look out for, the type of questions that are likely going to come up, and so on and so forth. You're in the US, you want to get a job in the US, you want to interact with professionals that have worked with organizations in the US. So that's the best way to learn, blended. And I'll show you a bit about what it looks like. Okay. So let's say any one of you have joined Tenalytics, for example. You have a dashboard, and when you get to your dashboard, this is a self-paced environment. Your self-paced environment is where you can log in, watch your videos at your convenience on a Monday, Tuesday, evening, morning, anytime. Say I'm registered to business analysis, for example. I'm doing a business analysis program at Tenalytics. All I need to do, come to my dashboard, click on continue learning. It takes me to where I can watch my videos and practice. Okay, I can watch my videos and I can practice. So I come to the dashboard. I want to learn, how to write a business case, for example. As a business analyst, how do I write a business case? So I come here, I click on business case, I watch the video on business case, and more importantly, as I watch my video, I have a case study. And this is where learning in a project-based environment becomes important. I can't overemphasize this. And I'm going to take a pause. If you haven't written anything down today, write this down. When you learn the technical skills, you must learn in a project-based environment. In an environment where you're not just learning how to use tools, learning how to use Excel, but you're learning how to use Excel to solve a real problem that a professional on the job has faced and has solved. So what we do is every single case study you work on has been the experience of somebody on that role. So I take my years of experience in data analytics, data engineering, and we couch it into case studies. Okay, we change the name of the companies, we change the data so you can't track any part of that data to a real organization. And then you get to work on that case study. Okay, and that's how you learn how to solve problems, project-based learning. So there's a case study on business case. You watch this, you solve the problems, you build your templates from scratch. Nobody's giving you or handing out templates to you. You build that from scratch. You see how it is done. And you can watch this at any point in time at your own convenience. Then you have the live class, and I'll show you what a live class looks like. So your live classes happen in a different platform or on a different platform. So you've watched your sessions on business case from the LMS, you've learned one or two things, then you would have a live session on business case. Okay. So you have a live class, a practical case study where you work together with a professional. So you look at every single class has, you have a case study. What is business case? Definition of business case. And at the end of the day, you have a case study. So this is what happens in a live class. So if you click on this, it takes you to the problem you'll be solving on that day. For a particular organization called Fastlink, you would work as a business analyst in that organization, helping them address some issues, especially when we had COVID and its effects and how it affected organizations. So this organization supplies different products to their customers, but COVID happened. They couldn't, get customers coming into the store, and they needed to come up with a solution to this particular problem. You would be the business analyst working on this, okay? And you don't do it alone. You do it in class. So your live class, I'm going to show you what the class recording looks like. Every single live class is recorded, so you don't miss anything at the end of the day. Okay, so you're in a class with a professional, you're working on that case study together, you're solving the problem together, and you're working with industry experts, people that have done this before, and they can help you learn the same set of skills, and you learn from professionals doing it on the job. Vera, who is one of our business analysis facilitators, works with Deloitte, for example, one of the big fours. She's Deloitte trained. She's led the business analysis team within Deloitte, and she would be the one teaching you business analysis. So that's how you learn, and that you get to work, learn on the job, work on case studies that will give you the knowledge and the ability to do the job on day one when you get hired as a business analyst. And that's how you learn in a project-based environment. Okay, so it's important, and I can't overemphasize learning in a blended learning approach, in a blended environment, self-paced and live. So once you've done this, the next step is I've gotten the technical skills. Now, as a business analyst, I know what to do. As a data analyst, I know the different technologies. As a data scientist, I know statistics. I know predictive analytics with Excel. I know Tableau, SQL, machine learning, supervised, unsupervised, and all of that. I know all those things because I've learned in a self-paced environment, and I've also learned with a live instructor, a professional teaching me, working on case studies together. How do I gain employability skills? My technical skills are not enough to get me into the room and get me the job. I must have the right CV. So if you don't have the right CV that is keyword optimized, you are the best in the use of Excel, you are the best in Python, but it means nothing because you cannot get into the room to convince that potential employer that you're the best for the job. All right. So you must have the right CV. You also must have an optimized LinkedIn profile. And what we do at Tenalytics is when you join, you submit your CV to us. We take your CV, we revamp that CV, put it in the right structure, ATS compliant, it is keyword optimized, and then we send it back to you. And we show you how to tailor your CV to job requirements. So before you apply to a job, you don't just take one CV and apply to 100 jobs. You take one CV and apply to one job. And before you apply and hit the submit button, you must be sure that your CV matches that job by a minimum of 85 to 95%. Only when you've done this job matching and you've seen that my CV matches the job by a minimum of 85 to 95%, you go ahead and send that application. So we do that for you. We show you how to optimize your LinkedIn. Then you have navigating the job market. Where do I apply to jobs? Which is part of the things we'll do today. I'll be showing you today. Part of our session, or majority of the session today, is around navigating the job market. Where do I apply? How do I apply? Where are the jobs and how do I get access to these jobs? Then when you get an interview invite, we hold interview prep sessions for you. We prepare you for those interviews. We look at the job requirements. We come up with the questions that you're likely going to get, and we prepare you for that particular interview. And I'll show you what this looks like very quickly. Let's look at the CV and the LinkedIn optimization. Okay. So you've joined one of our programs again. When you go to your classroom, one of the first things you see is upload your CV. So you upload your CV, we take that CV, we revamp the CV, and then we send you the updated CV format. And we send you with videos that would show you how to tailor the CV to jobs. So you don't just take that CV and apply to all the jobs you see. You take the CV, you know how to tailor, and then you go ahead and tailor to subsequent jobs you would apply to. Then you have LinkedIn optimization sessions. So our last LinkedIn optimization was, I think, about 2 weeks ago. So this is a LinkedIn optimization session handled by me, myself. It's a live practical session where I'll show you how to optimize your LinkedIn practically, step by step, from how you upload your profile picture to your cover image to how you structure your headline, your about section, and all of that, step by step. Okay, so we do it together, practical, show you the different tricks and tips for you to have the perfect LinkedIn profile. And to make it easy for you, most of the work that you need to do, we get it done for you. Your about section, if you're a project manager, what should be in your about section? We have that done. And we just show you how to edit, make adjustments whenever you need to do that. All right. Now, navigating the job market comes in two forms. The first form of navigating the job market is knowing where to apply, how to apply. The second form is knowing what that particular region requires from you. So if you're in the UK, what should you focus on? So one of the navigating the job market sessions we held, we brought in a recruitment expert, and she would show you and walk you through every single thing you need to know. All right. And I'll show you very quickly. We brought in Omotara. Omotara has worked with different recruitment agencies in the UK, in Canada, in the US. And we brought her to do what? Answer all the questions, hold your hands, and walk you through all the things you need to know to land a job across the different economies. This is one version of how we help you navigate the job market. Okay. And part of majority of what I'll show you today, when we get to the practical part of our session, you'd understand how the navigating the job market session actually happens practically. When you get an interview, all you need to do on your LMS, your learning management system, you go to your dashboard and you have access to book an interview preparation session. So you have an interview tomorrow on a Sunday, or you have an interview on Monday. All you have to do, come in here, click on schedule appointments. Your name is already captured. Select the program you've joined. I'm in cybersecurity. You enter the link to the job you applied, the details, the interview stage, first level interview. I want my interview prep tomorrow on the 13th. Upload the CV that I've used to apply. You upload your CV and then you book an interview preparation session. When you do that, somebody jumps on a call, a one-on-one session, and prepares you for that interview. And that's how you get the job the fastest. The CV gets you into the room. Your LinkedIn gets you noticed by top recruiters. You can't have a good CV and not have a good LinkedIn, an optimized LinkedIn profile. You must know where to apply and how to apply. So one of the things you would also see that we provide is where to apply to these jobs. So we pay for platforms, and I'll show you some of those platforms. We get the jobs from those platforms, the paid platforms that is not available to everyone. It is exclusive. We pay for them. We scrape those jobs and we send them to you. So you'd see something in your classroom called job offers. So this is the classroom for the Agile Project Management Program. If I go to job offers and I click on this link, it takes me to the jobs that we post. Let me maximize this a bit. So you'd see the jobs posted every single week. We post these jobs to you, you apply to the jobs, and that's where you get opportunities. And I'll show you people who have applied to jobs we've provided. And today they've gotten a job, they're on sponsorship, and they're doing amazingly well. So every Sundays, we post these jobs to you, and you go ahead and apply using the optimized CV we've given to you, knowing how to tailor that CV. This was posted last weekend on the 6th of April. And you'd see the jobs that come with sponsorship. You'd see yes, 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 yes. So you apply to those jobs with sponsorship. And this is where you start to get access to exclusive jobs that are not available on CV Library, read.co.uk, Glassdoor, and all those conventional platforms you are used to. So this is what we send to you, all right? You'd see the jobs that come with sponsorship. You click on the link and it takes you to the job. These four key things I've mentioned I dare say, are even more important than you being the best when it comes to your technical skills. You might be average when it comes to the technical skills, but if you know how to answer competency-based questions, if you know how to introduce yourself during interviews using different techniques and approach, like the SEAT approach for introducing yourself, starting with your skills, you talk about your skills, you talk about your experience, you talk about your achievements, and then you talk about your traits or your type of person. Knowing these different frameworks, preparing for them with a professional who would guide you during the interview prep session gives you access to getting that job even faster than somebody who doesn't have such support. Of course, when you get the job offer, they would want you to provide a reference. If you don't have organizations that can vouch for you, so imagine you're a care worker, or imagine you currently work in the warehouse, or you are doing one or two menial jobs here and there. But now you've learned a skill in data analytics. You've applied, you've gotten interviews, you've attended interviews, and now you have a job offer. Who can give you a reference to vouch for the skills that you have? Because employers want to see that you've done it somewhere and you have references to back it up. So what we do is we also provide you with job references. Because when you join Tenalytics, you don't join us as a student, you join us as a contractor. You join us as a consultant. And I'll explain that as we move on. We also help you on the job. You've gotten that job, you found a project that is a little bit more difficult than you expected. You have Tenalytics where you can ask your questions. We work with you to ensure that you are able to get past that initial teething phase on any job. You have your weekly mentorship sessions every single week, every Thursday evenings. You have mentorship. So if you're in the US, you are in Canada, we have mentorship sessions for your own region. If you're in the UK, Nigeria, West Africa, similar time zones, we have mentorship sessions tailored to your own specific region. So you'd see the mentorship sessions. The session that I held on Thursday, this last Thursday, was don't wait till you meet all the criteria before you apply to a job. Okay. So you'd find me there working with you every single step. We had different case scenarios using the experience of people who have gone ahead of you, how they did it, and how you can also do the same. Okay, so it's always practical, a practical live session where I would show you all the things you need to know, hand holding you to getting that job. And of course, you have the Upwork optimization. Upwork is a platform that enables you work remotely, work as a freelancer across different regions. So when it comes to skills, you can't focus on only one. You would never compete, you would never outcompete the people trying to get those jobs. You must have the two, technical and employability, the right CV, the right LinkedIn, knowing where and how to apply, preparing adequately, effectively for that interview, having a job reference, on the job support, mentorship, access to mentors that can tell you, do this, don't do that. And the strategies for getting visa sponsorship, I'll be showing you in the next few minutes. You'd understand why it's important for you to have mentors that have gone ahead of you. And of course, you have Upwork optimization. Now, when it comes to experience, and I'm going to move a little bit fast right here because we have a practical part of our session today on actually checking jobs that comes with sponsorship using different strategies and the strategy to focus on for today's session. All right. When it comes to gaining experience, people always find it difficult to portray experience based on the skills that they have. A lot of people would have gone to do different programs, different training. Some of them are free, some of them are online. But when it comes to showcasing experience in that area, how do you show experience? They find it challenging. Okay. You don't need to get a job to gain experience. And that's why I talked about learning in a project based environment. When you learn in a project-based environment, you would have worked on real-world projects, real-world case studies, and those case studies would be added to your portfolio. So one way of gaining experience and showing that experience is building a portfolio. The project-based case studies you've worked on would get updated and uploaded into that portfolio. Now, what is a portfolio? And I'll tell you what a portfolio is by giving this analogy. Now, imagine you want to buy a couch. It's end of the year, you are changing your furniture in your home, and you want to get a new couch. There are two different carpenters you're considering, Carpenter A and Carpenter B. Carpenter A has a certificate somewhere in his shop, a certificate that shows that he's gone for carpentry training. He was the best in carpentry school and he can do, carpentry very well. You have that certificate at the back of the shop. Then you have Carpenter B, who has a showroom. And in that showroom, you have different couches, different colors, different types. You can touch the couch, you can feel the quality, you can walk into the showroom, and you can see the different types of couches that Carpenter B has, created over the last few years. Which of these two carpenters would you give your couch to construct for you? Carpenter A, that has a certificate in his shop, or Carpenter B, that has a showroom? Just type into the chat A or B. A or B. B. Manuel says B. Temitope says B. Anthony says B. Okwe says B. Everybody says B. But interestingly, most people would position themselves as Carpenter A. Most people do this. They position themselves as Carpenter A. No employer would give you the job if you position yourself as Carpenter A. All you have is a certificate that says Google Analytics, like the gentleman who says he was doing that. Or all you have is a certificate that shows I've done this training. Nobody cares. There are 1,001 people, 1,000,001 people that have that same certificate that you have. They want that professional that has a showroom where I can walk into your showroom, I can see what you've built, and that shows me how good you are. And I can decide to invite you for an interview or even hire you based on what I can see. So you must always have a showroom to show experience. And your showroom is your portfolio. So it doesn't matter the program you join. With us at Analytics, you must build a portfolio. And the second part is the internship. I'll talk about internship. So I've kept a couple of portfolio links for you. You can click on those links. It takes you to the portfolio, and you'd click on one or two and you'd see what the portfolio looks like. All right. But don't forget, you want to get my slides, have access to all of these links. Make sure you fill the attendance form. Okay. That's the only way you can get access to all these materials. You have Victor, who is a data scientist. You have Victoria, who is a data analyst. You have Lemuel, who is a business analyst. And you have Gad Nwachuku, who is a data engineer. Okay, so I kept 4 different links. These are links to their showrooms, links to their portfolio. Just like you said, I'll choose Carpenter B because Carpenter B has evidence that they've done that job before. You must have evidence that you've done the job before. Okay, so if I click on Victoria's portfolio, for example, and I click on this link, it takes me to Victoria's showroom, Victoria's portfolio. So the link to your portfolio would always be on your CV and on your LinkedIn profile, because this is the only way potential employers can access and see what you've done. Now, Victoria worked on this particular project called Deep Care Hospital Room Visit Analysis. This is me. So imagine I want to hire a data analyst that can use Tableau. Okay. And I click on Victoria's portfolio. I look at what she's done. Oh, she analyzed data for, using the emergency room data of a particular hospital. And she was able to help reduce the patient wait time by 15%. That sounds interesting. I want to see what she did. What type of, analysis did she carry out? I come in here and I click on this link and it takes me to her portfolio. It takes me to the project that she completed, and I can see clearly that Victoria has built this particular dashboard using Tableau. And I want to hire someone that knows how to use Tableau. So I look at what she's done: emergency room visit dashboard, number of patients, average age, and I can click and interact just like walking into that carpenter's shop, and I can touch and feel and feel the quality. I can simply click, I want to see data for only Q2. I can deselect everything and it becomes blank. Okay. And I can click on only Q2 and it will show me data for only Q2. And with this, I can see that whoever built this can use Tableau. And this is where employers or potential employers, hiring managers start to see that you have the experience that you say you have. I can see other projects that Victoria has completed: Redux Airline flight analysis using Excel, Express Tech food delivery using Tableau, Nestle product analytics using Power BI. I can click on any of these links and I can see how good Victoria is. Same with Victor. Victor is a data scientist. I want to hire somebody that can use Python. I can click on Victor's portfolio. It takes me to his portfolio, his showroom, essentially. And I can see all the projects that Victor has worked on. One of them is a loan default prediction model, where Victor built a loan prediction model to predict customers that are likely going to default on the loan they have collected from the company. I can click on that. It takes me to that particular project, and I can click on the notebook and I can see all the codes that Victor wrote to complete that particular project, the libraries that he used, how he carried out his exploratory data analysis, his data cleaning. I can see everything step by step. And this is equivalent to that to you who wants to buy a couch, going into the showroom of that carpenter and seeing exactly what you want. If you showcase yourself as somebody who only has a certificate, you would never get that job. All right. That's one way of building experience. And with us at Analytics, you're in cybersecurity, you have a portfolio. You're in project management, you have a portfolio. You're in financial analytics, you have a portfolio. Then you must complete your internship. So all our programs comes with 2 months internship, because the internship is where you get to interact and work in a cross-functional team. So 6 months of learning, 2 months of internship. And your internship is with the sister company of Tenalytics, Amdari, registered in London in the UK, operating out of London in the UK, and also Alberta, Canada. If you don't have the opportunity to include that I worked with an organization in the UK, so I have UK work experience, I have Canadian work experience, you are always going to struggle to convince that potential employer they are the right person for the job. So this is how you gain work experience. First of all the projects you work on in class, all the case studies, all the projects you work on during your internship gets added to your portfolio. And that's your showroom to showcase to potential employers that you've done it before and you can do it for them. And because you've completed your internship with Amdari, with Tenalytics, you then get to add this on your CV and on your LinkedIn. And before I get into the practical of today's session, I'll highlight a few professionals that have done this, and you'd see clearly they're doing amazing stuff today. Okay, so I used Uthman. Uthman joined us years ago, and I used him as a case study during our mentorship session. He has about 3 years experience, and I was showcasing that when Uthman got this job, nobody believed he could get the job looking at his skills at that time. So when you go to Uthman's, LinkedIn profile, you'd see that he worked with Tenalytics as a data analyst. You must always show to recruiters that you've done that job before or you're currently on the job. So this is using Uthman as an example. Let me try to remember somebody else. Busola. Okay, so let's check Busola. Busola got a job last year in Canada. Busola got, and you see she's currently a performance analyst with Desjardins. What was her previous role? Data analyst with Tenalytics. All right. You have is it Olawale? Oluwadamilare. Okay, Oluwadamilare is in the UK, for example. Oluwadamilare got a job in April 2024 as a sustainability data analyst. And his role before that was what? Data analyst with Tenalytics on contract. And so many other professionals that are on sponsorship, like Ramat, for example. Ramat is on sponsorship with the NHS. She got a job sometime, I think, last year. And her role before she got that job as a business architect with the NHS, she worked as a business analyst consultant with Tenalytics. So you must always show to employers that you've done the job before. You are currently on the role, and that's what shows them that you're the right person for the job. That's how you show experience. Build a portfolio, complete an internship, and list companies where you're currently working on, which is Tenalytics and Amdari. So these are some of the opportunities that you get to show that you have experience to do the job. And of course, I've talked about the mentorship session already. I've also talked about the jobs we send to you. So we use paid platforms, and the paid platform is one of the platforms I'll show you for your visa sponsorship strategy. So we pay to those platforms. We have unique access to those platforms on jobs that are not available on LinkedIn. They're not available on CV Library, read.co.uk. We get those jobs and we send them to you. We vetted the jobs and we know that these are the jobs you can get. Does it come with sponsorship? Yes. We list the ones that comes with sponsorship and you apply to those type of jobs. All right. So that's how you prepare for the job. If you don't have the preparation in that manner, first of all, knowing the jobs you want to get into, you've researched data analyst, data scientist, project manager, cybersecurity analyst. You've identified the career path you want to move into. The second step is, what are employers looking for? What do they want from me? They want my skills and they want my experience, technical, employability. And then, how do I gain experience? Once you've done this, it's now time to come up with a strategy to apply to those sponsorship jobs available. So what strategies should you deploy? We've held hundreds of sessions on visa sponsorship strategies, but I'll highlight one of them in today's session. Okay, we've not really talked about this in the last couple of months, so I'm going to talk a little bit about this today, which is the strategy called Stoop to Conquer. But when you want to apply for sponsorship, you want to get the skilled worker visa, there are 3 or 4 key strategies that we deploy and we advise you to deploy. The first one is applying on job boards. But the job boards must be paid job boards. Because guess what? If I apply on free job boards, on LinkedIn, for example, I'll be competing with every single person who has access to that free platform. But if I apply on a paid job board, not everybody would pay to get that subscription. So Tenalytics subscribes to those platforms. We get the jobs, we vet the jobs, we screen the jobs, and then we send them to you. And some of the platforms we use the Visa Jobs HQ, and we also use UK visa jobs. This is highlighting just two out of so many platforms that we use. So every Sunday we scrape the jobs, we send them to you, you apply to those jobs. So that's one strategy. And it's a common strategy that so many people are used to doing. Scrape the jobs, apply to jobs on free platforms, on paid platforms. But I advise apply on paid platforms. And I'll show you one of the paid platforms that we use and how you can use similar platforms. So UK Visa Jobs, it is a paid platform. So you'd see apply for student, graduate, and experienced hire jobs with visa sponsorship in the UK. So you don't have any type of job other than jobs with sponsorship on this platform. It's not free. You can browse a few jobs for free, but the moment you start clicking on, I think, about 3 or 4 jobs, it's would request for you to make some payments. So, but we already pay. If you're a Analytics student, a Analytics participant, you gain access to this for free. So if you click on jobs, it takes you to where you can start to search for jobs. And all you need to do is come in here. I want to apply to, let's say, project management jobs. And I type project management. Okay. And I click on search. There are about 5 roles that comes with sponsorship right now on the platform, or project manager. Sometimes let's do project manager. We should have more jobs. Okay, project manager. So 159 roles that comes with sponsorship, 159. And I can look at them one after the other. This is with Shanskar UK, Network Rail, project manager, IT project manager with games workshop. I can click on this. I can see the requirements. What is this job all about? And I can start to apply to this job. Okay, the closing date is on the 13th, so it's actually very close. It closes tomorrow, the 13th of April. All right, so it's a fixed term contract. So you see that it comes with a 12-month contract. That's a fixed term contract. So you have sponsorship that comes with as a full-time, um, as a full-time job, fixed term contract where it is 1 year. After that 1 year, they extend the contract to maybe another 1 year or 2 years based on your performance. And all you have to do, what do they want from you? Your essential skills, nothing really out of place when you look at this. Okay. So you can check for so many different type of jobs. The project manager, you can come in here, business analyst, and this is where we get a whole lot of the visa sponsorship jobs that we send. About 41 business analyst jobs available right now. Okay. Check for all the different roles available and apply to one. This is using UK Visa Jobs as an example. It's a paid platform and it is not free. So that's one strategy. The second strategy is called Stoop to Conquer. And this is where I'm going to spend a little bit of time. Stoop to Conquer is a fantastic strategy. Now, what is it all about? This is applying to companies with potential. When you go to UK Visa Jobs and you apply to jobs on UK Visa Jobs, these are job roles where the companies have already listed that they come with sponsorship. So you know before you apply that I'm applying to a job that comes with visa sponsorship. There are so many other roles that have the potential for sponsorship, but the companies would not list them as jobs coming with sponsorship. So what do? You have to identify companies with the potential to sponsor you. Take, for example, this company I'm applying to, how many COS did they issue last year? Sorry about that. And what's a COS? A certificate of sponsorship. How many COSs did they issue in 2024, for example? If I have company A that issued 20 COSs, and I have company B that issued 1,600 COSs, which one of these two companies would I stand a better chance of getting a COS from? Company A or company B? Just type into the chat If one issued about 20, the other one issued 1,600, and I want to apply for sponsorship, which of the two companies? Company B, obviously, because if they've issued a high number of sponsorship, then it means it will be easy for me to also get sponsorship. So what we advise in Stoop to Conquer is don't look for that company with a job vacancy that says sponsorship. As long as you can find out that this company has the potential to sponsor, I would apply to that company, apply to the job role, and I would give them 120% of my professionalism, of my time, and so on and so forth. And after a few months, I would then put in my application for sponsorship. I'll make the request that I want sponsorship. Why? Because I've given them so much that they don't want to lose me. They see me as a valuable employee. And the job role I've applied to is one of the eligible occupations for the skilled worker visa. The job role, the job offer also comes with the minimum salary threshold of £38,700 per annum. So I know that I've met all the criteria where I can be issued a COS to get this job eventually. So you plan beforehand and then you get into the company, give them 120%. When you've done that, after a few months, 6 months, 8 months, you then request for sponsorship. And I'll show you, you know, two people that did that and how they use this strategy to land their visa sponsorship. Now, there are two platforms you can use. I prefer one of them, but I'll show you the two: Company Jobs and Work Sponsors. All right. We'll deep dive into one of them and I'll show you categorically what you should do to use this as a strategy to land sponsorship. Of course, the third strategy is Hunt the Hunter. And this is where you are targeting recruitment agencies that recruit specifically for visa sponsored roles. So they have organizations who wants to sponsor and they recruit on their behalf. Hanham, for example, is one very popular one that we love. And if you want to get sponsorship, you want to focus on this, especially in tech related roles. You have Hayes. Hayes is another very popular one. Michael Page. You go to those platforms, you set up a profile, upload your CV, and search on Google recruitment agencies near me. Okay, so if you have a Michael Page with close to your city, you want to visit them, speak to them, let them know that you've created a profile, let them know what you want, because they need you and they want to hire you just as much as you want that job. All right, so that's a different strategy for another day. Our focus today would be on Stoop to Conquer. All right, so now we know that I'm on my postgraduate work visa, for example. I'm on my post-study visa, and I know that I need to get sponsorship within the next 2 years. What do I do? All I'm simply going to do is I would look for that company that has the potential to sponsor me. I don't care if the job adverts comes with say sponsorship or no sponsorship, but I would apply. So, but how do I find those companies in the first place? So if you go to Company Jobs and you click on that link, it takes you to Company Jobs. Again, for Company Jobs, sometimes you might have request you to make some payments at some point. It's not free to end. All right. But once you click on the link, it brings you here. Okay. So you'd see different organizations and you'd see the total number of certificates or sponsorships they've issued: 8,512, 8,310, 6,928, and so on and so forth. You'd see the highest month, the month where they issue the highest number of COS: October, January, April, and so on, right? So what I start to do is I look for these companies that I'm interested in, and then I go to search for the roles that they have available. All right. I can see Tata Consultancy Services is one of the best places you can easily get, sponsorship. You look at every other platform, different companies, Concordia, for example, they issued about 3,753. Cognizant, 1,948, for example. But let's start with Cognizant. Let's go to Cognizant. We have quite a number of Tenalytics alumni working in Cognizant as business analysts, as business data analysts, and so on. But let's see how we can use the stoop to conquer strategy on Cognizant. So all I would simply do is I'll go to Google and I'll use the difference. I'll go to Google and I'll simply search, okay, Cognizant. Cognizant is worldwide, but I would narrow it down back to the UK. Cognizant careers, okay, or Cognizant UK careers. Hit enter and search. So let's click on this. It takes us to Cognizant careers, and then we're going to narrow it down back to the UK. So I go to Cognizant. I know that Cognizant is a licensed sponsor. They have the license to sponsor. I can get a COS from them. But the jobs I'll be applying to are not jobs that comes with sponsorship. But the job title, remember, that was the first thing we did, the eligible occupations. So I know before I even apply that this particular job title is one of the eligible occupations for the skilled worker visa. The salary is also meets the threshold as well. So as I apply to that job, I know exactly what I want to get out of it. So I come here, I go to location, I'll type United Kingdom. Okay. And I'm going to see different jobs, available jobs at the moment. All right. You can filter by industry. You can change the location to your specific city, Manchester, London, Leeds, Bradford, depending. But let's look at some of the jobs they have available that aligns with where we want to be. Okay. Senior business analyst roles. I can apply to these jobs and I can check for more. All right. They have quite a lot of business analyst roles at Cognizant. Business analyst, business analyst, business analyst, business analyst, product manager, senior data architect, data engineer. A data architect is pretty much a data engineer. Principal data engineer, senior data architect, business analyst, and I can check more roles available. And I start to apply to these jobs. And like I said, the strategy is simple. I'll get in, give them my best, and then I would request for sponsorship. And I'll show you somebody that did this. It's worked perfectly. And she's currently on her way to her ILR. All right. So you keep on searching and see the jobs available. Change manager. A change manager is also a business analyst, a senior data engineer, um, and so on and so forth. So you check for the roles they have available and then you go ahead and apply. All right. And there are so many organizations like that. If we go back to company jobs, you can go to the second page and let's check for other companies also offering sponsorship. Ryanair, William Morris, Manchester University, NHS Foundation Trust, Live Nation, Infosys, JP Morgan, Ernst and Young, and so on and so forth. One other fantastic organization, if we move down these pages, would find it is NatWest. Okay, the NatWest group offers amazing sponsorship opportunities. And again, all you have to do once you've identified one of the companies right here, go back to search NatWest. Okay, NatWest Group Carriers. Search that on Google, click on NatWest Group, and they also give amazing sponsorship. One of our students got a sponsorship last month from the NatWest Group as a business data analyst, and I'll show you that in a couple of minutes. So we want to, specify the country, filter down to the United Kingdom. All right. So we click on only the United Kingdom. Then you want to specify your city depending, but I always advise leave it open, be open to moving across different cities to get that job. All right. Job type, job category. I always prefer to go to the job subcategory. Okay. and you want to see the subcategory of the type of jobs, software engineering, technology architects, I'm going to click on data insights and analytics. Click on that. Okay. Show more. Let's see more. I want to also click on change and project management, for example. Click on that as well. So you can filter based on your preference. And what do? You see the type of jobs they have available: data analyst, data analyst, project management officer, that's a PMO officer, data scientist, and I can apply to any of these jobs. Posted 4 days ago, posted 2 days ago. The NatWest Group is also one of those organizations. They have the license to sponsor, and they would also give you sponsorship as long as they've seen that you are an asset and they don't want to lose you. So you can use these organizations, use as the stoop to conquer strategy. It applies to them 100%. Apply to the company. Don't bother if it becomes a sponsorship or not. Give them 120% of your professionalism. Show them you're the right person for the job. And then you make the request and they would provide that for you. So what I've done is I've gotten all the top companies that are offering visa sponsorship for those in the UK. We're going to come to the US and we'll come to Canada as well. So for you to get access to my slides one more time, make sure you fill the attendance form. Don't forget to do that. So you have different sectors, different organizations that are looking to sponsor right now. You can use the Stoop to Conquer strategy for them. Apply to the jobs. The NHS is one of them. We have over 65 of our alumni working in the NHS in healthcare. You want to look at the big fours: Deloitte, PwC, KPMG, the NatWest Group that I just showed you. You want to apply there as well. You want to check Tata Consultancy Services. Capgemini is another very fantastic organization in the UK that would sponsor you. But all the organizations here, by the time you are done applying as a data analyst, business analyst, project manager, you will secure visa sponsorship. And Rita last year, Rita secured her skilled worker visa using this particular strategy. So what happened with Rita? Last year in April, when the Home Office made so many changes to sponsorship, they made changes to so many immigration rules. As somebody on the health and care visa, you could no longer bring independence anymore. The salary threshold was increased. It was from I think around 28,000 plus. They increased it to about 38,700. Okay, so they made so many different immigration rules. But guess what? Rita knew exactly what she was doing. She applied to this job. She gave them everything she had. She was always on time, did her job in the best professional manner. And what happened? When these changes were made, she requested for a COS. So this is Rita sending us a message. This is her COS being approved by the Home Office. I spoke to my manager about this visa and the rules that changed, but HR pushed back and forth until they gave me my COS on Thursday. I applied for the visa on Saturday using the priority service, and today I got my decision. Thank you so much. I'm grateful to Tenalytics because the program taught me SQL, which I used to get this fixed term contract job. Thank you very much. So when Rita applied to this job, it did not come with sponsorship, but she met all the criteria. It was an organization that could sponsor. The salary threshold, she met the salary threshold. It was a job role that was eligible for the skilled worker visa. And based on that, she made a request. And she's on her visa sponsorship. Mary also did the same. Mary had no experience in tech. She was always working shifts in the UK. She joined our business analysis program in November last year. And in March this year, she got her visa sponsorship with NatWest. And this is part of the reasons why I said NatWest is also a fantastic organization for you to get sponsorship. She currently works with NatWest as a business data analyst. And this was the response from the Home Office. Your application under the skilled worker route of the immigration rules has been approved. You've been granted permission to stay in the UK as a skilled worker until 13th of March 2030. So she's on a 5-year journey on the skilled worker visa, and after 5 years, she applies for her ILR, indefinite leave to remain, and 1 year after, she applies for citizenship. Okay, and these are some of the success stories and so many more. You have somebody like Amaka. Amaka was out of job for over 6 months in Canada, in Saskatchewan. She couldn't secure interviews before she joined our HR analytics program in July last year. So Amaka couldn't get a job. But what happened? She joined our HR analytics program in July. She completed the program in December. She got multiple interviews, and we prepared her for our interviews. She secured the job as a HR data analyst with Sask Energy in Saskatchewan. Now, how is Amaka's story interesting? I showed you some of the jobs that we sent to you to apply. Amaka applied to those jobs. And this is Amaka saying, hello, Priscilla. Priscilla is the class coordinator for the HR analytics program. Hello, Priscilla. Happy New Year. This was in January, just a few, 3 months ago. I am overwhelmed, but with good news. I have 3 job interviews. Most importantly, I have an interview with Sask Energy for a HR data analyst role. One of the jobs you posted. And this is the importance of applying to those jobs that we send to you, because we vetted jobs. We know that these are the type of jobs you can get. And when you apply to those jobs, you stand a high chance of landing the job. So Amaka applied. I need help preparing for the interview. We prepared Amaka for her interviews, because she had multiple interviews. And this was when Amaka sent us a message, I got the job. Okay, so I'm going to play Amaka's video because I want you to listen to Amaka. And for those in the US, I'll show you a platform that if you've not been using this platform before, you've been making a mistake in landing a job. If you're also in Canada, you want to secure a job, especially a remote job, I'll show you a platform for you to also focus on. All right. But in the meantime, let's listen to Amaka and what Amaka has to say about her journey, and so many other professionals like Amaka who have done the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to click on the link, and I want you to sit back. Hello, everyone. Relax and listen to Amaka and how Amaka was able to transition from somebody who couldn't land a job to somebody who is a HR data analyst with one of the largest energy company in Saskatchewan in Canada. Okay, so let's listen to Amaka.
Hello everyone, my name is Amaka Naji, and I would like to share with you how Analytics gave me the confidence to apply for a high-paying job. So last year, 2024, I came across Analytics advert on Instagram. At first, I was skeptical. I was like, things we see on Instagram. But I just said, okay, I had always wanted to upskill, learn something else as an HR professional, and the analytical aspect has been on my mind. So okay, before I pay, let me join the WhatsApp group and hear what they have to say. So I joined the WhatsApp group, and I was like, okay, this is something I want to do. This is something I want to put my money in here, and I paid for the class. Just the first class alone, I thank God I did this. And as the class progressed, I was really happy. I removed all doubts. So last year, December, I saw a job posting, and if I had seen the job posting before I started this class, I don't think I would have had the courage or the confidence to apply for the role, but I did because of all what I've learned from Analytics. So I applied for the role. Some weeks later, I was called for an interview. I reached out to my facilitator, so I told her I have an interview, please, what do I need to do? And she was like, don't worry, we got you. And they really did, because they prepared me for an interview. They went out of their way. I was sent a 12-page document on what to do. We had a Zoom meeting. It was they took this interview like a major project. They really went out of their way, prepared with me, told me and all of that, and I went for the interview and I got the job. So I want to tell you that if you're still thinking you might not gain anything, trust me, you have a lot to gain. And take it as a gift to yourself. It's 2025. Like, I want to do something for my career, and I want you to pay for this class. I want you to go for this class, and you will be thankful. Your career will thank you for having for doing
So that's
this thing.
Amaka, absolutely
guys,
phenomenal lady. I'm going to show you
thank you.
Amaka's LinkedIn as well. So, like I always say, it's you getting a job is not just doing one thing right. It's a multitude of different strategies combining together to, eventually getting you that opportunity. So let's go to Amaka's LinkedIn very quickly. Amaka. Let me see if I can find her. Amaka Naji. Yeah, so that's Amaka right there. So let's see Amaka's LinkedIn very quickly. So one of the first things you'd see before she got this job, like I said, employers must see that you are currently on the job. You've done this before and you'll be doing this for them. HR analyst with Tenalytics. That's the beauty and the opportunity of you having a reputable organization to vouch for you and provide a reference on your behalf. We provided a reference for Amaka. She got this job, and today she is a HR data analyst with Sask Energy and so many other professionals. You have Pavel. Pavel is in Arizona in the US. He joined our data analytics program. He joined us sometime last year in August, completed his program in December, and he landed a job as a data analyst with the Arizona community of physicians in the US. You have Hope. Hope's story is another very interesting one, and I would love everybody to listen to Hope. Hope lived in Ontario, Canada. She's your typical African who left Africa with the mindset that all the certifications I have would get me a job. So there was no certification that Hope did not do, because that's the mentality so many people have. And that's the mentality of that carpenter, that has certifications in his shop rather than having the experience and the showroom to showcase to potential employers. For us at Tenalytics, we have a phrase called competence over credentials. Your competence any day, anytime. Your skills, your competence comprises of your skills and your experience. Your competence any day, anytime would get you a job faster than any credential would. So Hope had PMP certification. Hope had Scrum Master certification, but she couldn't even land an interview in Canada. She joined our Agile Project Management program in September 2024. And by December that same year, just about 3 months after, she got a job as a project analyst with Visman in Waterloo, Ontario. So one of the first things we did with Hope was quit projecting your certifications and start projecting your ability to do the job. She built a portfolio to showcase what she's done before. We prepared her for our interviews, and eventually Hope was able to land a job. You have Olua Damilare, who landed a job as a sustainability data analyst in the UK after completing our data analytics program. You have Oye Fikayo. Oye Fikayo had a background in finance and accounting back in Nigeria. She moved to Canada, also couldn't land a job. She joined our full stack data science program. And today, Oye Fikayo is a business solutions analyst. She got this job a month before she even completed her program with us. And all these three amazing ladies you see here are all on visa sponsorship with the NHS. ICMAT works with the NHS as a data analyst. Ramat works with the NHS as a business architect. TOEI works with the NHS as a benefits analyst. TOEI and ICMAT joined our data analytics program. Ramat joined the business analysis program. And they are all on visa sponsorship working with the NHS and so many other professionals. Ngozi currently works remotely in Huddersfield in the UK. Lois was an accountant back in Nigeria. Today, she's a project manager with a company in the UK. Adetayo had no tech background. Adetayo couldn't land a job. He joined our cybersecurity program. And before he completed his cybersecurity program with us, he landed a job also in the UK. All right. So all these professionals, you can listen to them, get to hear their journey and how they were able to make that transition. Just like Amaka, who never had the courage to apply because she felt that these jobs are beyond me. One of the things we do in our mentorship session is to show you that you can get this job by doing all the things I've shared with you today, from knowing career path you want to get into, getting the skills, employability and technical, building a portfolio, completing your internship, having a reputable organization like Tenalytics to provide you with a reference when employers request for that reference. These were all the things, all the strategies these professionals deployed, and they were able to land jobs. Some of them before they completed, some during the program, some a few months after the program, but they're doing amazingly well. Okay, so all the links are here. Don't forget to fill the attendance forms so you get access to all these content and you get access to my slide at the end of the session. In wrapping up our session, as we inch towards the end of the session, I'll share with you some of the most effective remote job boards. It doesn't matter where you are. You want to get a job in the US, you want to get a job in Canada. There are so many job boards, but I'll show you the ones to focus on. I love JobRite. If you're in the US, for example, don't worry, I'm going to come to that, but you're in the US, you want to use JobRite, you want to use Wellfound, Built-in, and FlexJobs. These are 4 amazing platforms. If you're in Europe, you can use Europe remotely, Skip the Drive, Remote OK, and so on and so forth, even in Indeed and Glassdoor. Okay, but we've talked a lot about the UK. Now I'm going to move to the US and I'll move to Canada. I'll show you the different skills that you need to learn in all our programs that I've listed. How you learn, because that's some of the questions you're asking. Is it virtual? Is it physical? How do I learn? Is it every day? Is it on Saturdays or Sundays? I'll be sharing that with you as we wrap up in the next couple of minutes. And then I'll take you to these platforms and I'll show you how to use these platforms to filter and get the type of jobs that you need to get and how to get them a lot faster than you've been doing before. All right. So my favorite platforms, especially for those, the most effective, not just my favorite. In the US, for example, JobRite is number 1 on that list. JobRite is the LinkedIn for the job seeker. LinkedIn for the job seeker. So when employers want to search for candidates on LinkedIn, they have specific criteria. Your current job must be data analyst. Your previous employer must be in the UK. They'll list different criteria and then they search for candidates and then your profiles would pop out. Okay. But this time around, JobRite has created a platform for the employee, the person trying to get a job, the job seeker. So you can set specific criteria and see the jobs that meet that specific criteria that would enable you land those jobs. Okay, and I'll show you how to use this. FlexJobs is number 2 on my list. You have Wellfound and then you have Built-in. Okay, and of course, if you're in Canada, you want to land this job. Number 1 on my list is Built-in. Number 2 is JobBoom. JobBoom is majorly for those in Quebec. Okay, however, you have jobs across the different provinces. Okay, and then you have Workopolis. Workopolis is an OG when it comes to the jobs within the region. It's been there for a very long time and they have fantastic fantastic jobs. Okay, so we're going to go through the lists of the skills you need to learn, and then I'll show you how to get access to these jobs on those different job platforms. So, the business analyst, for example, what do you need to learn? And the reason why we need to look at this is simply because a lot of people learn the wrong way. You want to become a data scientist, or the gentleman that says he wants to become a computer vision engineer. What do you learn first? And what do you learn last? How do you start? Because how you start is very important. I know hundreds of people that started journey into data analytics just like myself decades ago, but they dropped off. They couldn't continue. They are doing something else today because staying the course and learning the right thing at the right time is very important. So, for a business analyst, the very first thing you want to learn is Excel, Power BI, and SQL, data related skills. Then you move to process mapping using tools and technologies like Lucid Charts, Draw.io, and so on. Then you move to project initiation planning, Agile and Scrum for projects, software development lifecycle. These are the project management skills for the business analyst. And as a business analyst, you can also apply to certain project management roles as well, because you're going to learn project initiation and planning. You learn Agile and Scrum for projects. You learn the software development lifecycle. You learn how to use tools like Jira to track project deliverables, Confluence to collaborate on projects, Trello, Azure DevOps to track and monitor your team members' tasks and responsibilities. You learn requirement fundamentals, elicitation, stakeholder analysis and engagement, and Chat GPT for business analysis. Your classes are designed in a way that it doesn't matter where you are. If you're in the UK, you're in Africa, you're in Europe, similar time zone, you have a class that fits your time zone, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. UK time. And for those in the US, for those in Canada, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So if you're in the UK, for example, and this is on Saturday, if you're in the UK, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. your time, if you're not available at that time in the morning, you can join the guys in the US and Canada later in the evening, which would be roughly around 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. your time. So you have that flexibility depending on your availability at that time. You can join different classes that fit your time zone. So somebody in the US is not joining classes at odd hours, or someone in the UK joining classes at odd hours. Every other day apart from Saturday is when you have your live instructor-led class. You have a professional in front of you. You are solving problems together. You can ask questions. You can share your screen and you get your answers in real time. Every other day, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you have your watch me do it. You log on to the learning management system, the LMS, you get into your class, you watch your videos, you watch your case studies, and you practice and solve problems. Okay, so you don't need to join classes every day. You join your live classes on Saturdays, every other day at your own convenience. You watch your videos, and the next Saturday, you join a live class. All right, your program is for 8 months, 6 months learning in class. This is time for you to assimilate all the different skills, the technology, put it into practice, working on projects. And then you have 2 months internship. And this is where you get to work in a real world environment virtually, working in a cross functional team. So for those in the UK, for those in Nigeria, for those in Europe, similar time zone, for those in, somewhere in Poland, Germany, you form a group together, you join similar groups because you're in the same time zone, and you work together on different projects during your internship. And those in the US, Canada, North America, similar time zone, you also join a different group when working on your internship to solve problems. All right. So that's for the business analyst. For the agile project manager, you're going to learn introduction to project management skills and communication, foundation of Agile and Scrum, understanding the Scrum framework, the Scrum artifacts, advanced Scrum and Agile practices. You'd learn the end-to-end use of Jira and Confluence for projects. You'd learn how to use Kanban boards for workflow management, Agile and metrics reporting, project management leadership, and its real world application, the Nexus Scaled Scrum. And then we prepare you for the professional Scrum Master examination. You learn how to use Confluence to track deliverables and collaborate on projects. You learn how to use Jira to track deliverables when working on projects. You learn Trello to track your team members' progress and their responsibilities as well. And just like the business analysis program, you also have your live classes on Saturdays. If you're in the UK, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You're in Nigeria, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You are somewhere around Europe, similar time zones, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you're in the US, you're in Canada, that's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So if you want to convert MST, Mountain Standard Time, to the Eastern Time, it's about 2 hours. The Eastern Time is 2 hours ahead of Mountain Time. So 10 a.m. would be 12 noon Eastern Time. Okay. So all you have to do is just put it on Google and then you would see the different time zones depending on where you are. But there's always a class for your time zone. 6 months learning, 2 months internship. All right. You have the data engineer. And here, let's go to one of the platforms. Okay. So let's go to Built-in. Built-in is one of my favorites. And I love Built-in because Built-in gives you the ability to filter for specific type of jobs that you want to get. So let's search for an agile project management role. I'm in the US. I want to get a job as an agile project manager. Okay. So let's search for the job title. So you go to builtin.com. Again, all these platforms are on my slide. Make sure you fill the attendance. You have access to this. I type the job title, project manager, or I want to specify IT project manager. Okay. So the IT project manager is the project manager within the IT project manager, a project manager that works on technology related projects. Okay. So I'll select the IT project manager. I'm going to change the location to the United States. Sorry, it's trying to get my location. I'll use the United States. Do I want fully remote? I don't want on-site. I want to apply to just remote jobs. So show me fully remote, show me hybrid jobs. Okay. I'll click on apply, see jobs. Okay. So let's see the jobs available. Now, to make it even more interesting, I can filter based on the type of jobs I want to see, years of experience, the skills, the tools, and so on. So I can simply go to all filters. I go right there, I scroll down a little bit, and I select junior and mid-level. So by the time you are done with our 8 months program, you would have gained the equivalence of 2 years work experience because you are working on real world projects in a project-based environment and you're not learning by learning how to use tools. You are learning to solve problems using those tools and technologies. So you'd select junior, mid-level, click on apply, and you'd see the jobs available. The Home Depot is currently hiring for an IT project manager role, posted 3 days ago. It's a remote job, 60K to 180K. You can check it out. Takeda is currently recruiting for an IT project manager role, $87,000 to $136,000. And the beauty about this is you click on the job and you find out that these are jobs that I can apply to and get. Okay, so I click on this, I'll see what the requirements are. I go through that very quickly. I see the requirements and I can easily apply to this particular job. Okay, What's the preferred qualification? Ability to lead and execute, energetic, driven, highly motivational, highly motivated, proven organizational and time management skills, high attention to details, strong interpersonal. So I see all those things and I can now think of applying to this particular job. Okay, so I can see more jobs, check the requirements, and start to apply to these jobs. Again, built-in is perfect and absolutely fantastic for doing this. Okay, so one thing why I love built-in is you can check different filters. Filter for those jobs. You can filter for the jobs that were posted few hours ago, 24 hours ago, specific locations, or even specific tools required for that job. All right. So let's go back to the data engineering role. To get a job as a data engineer, you must know these skills and these technologies. So the key learning areas and what you learn with us: introduction to data engineering, SQL, structured query language, SQL, Python programming for building your ETL pipelines, Linux for your bash scripting, learn how to build ETL pipelines to get data from databases, APIs, scrape data from the web. You'd learn how to automate your pipelines using Spark and Airflow. All right. You'd learn cloud engineering. So when you see the job role, cloud architect, cloud engineer, and so on, you'd learn how to use Google Cloud Platform, GCP, and Microsoft Azure. These are the cloud platforms you'd learn. Version control with GitHub, and AI for data engineering using ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot. Again, the structure of the class in terms of timing is the same. In the US, in the UK, Europe, similar time zone, Africa, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You're in the US, North America, Canada, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Every other day, you're on the LMS watching your videos and practicing. 6 months learning, 2 months internship. Then you have the data analysts. Again, I'm going to take you to the most effective platform for a job seeker in the US, and that's JobRite. I'll show you the platform and show you how to use the platform. Everybody in the US today, if you have a brother, you have a cousin, you have a friend, show them JobRite if they want to land a job very fast. Okay. So as a data analyst, you start by learning problem solving. A lot of people ignore this, but it's very important because if you don't know the problem you're solving, you don't know the right tools, the right technologies, you don't even know if you have the data to solve that problem. So you must know how to get to the root cause of a problem before you start solving that problem. Root cause analysis, know how to break problems into multiple parts using the McKinsey-Mason model, and so on and so forth. Then you move into Excel, SQL, structured query language, Power BI, Tableau, data storytelling, AI for data analytics using ChatGPT, and Microsoft Fabric for analytics. The timeline, the structure is similar to the previous programs, depending on your region. And of course, 6 months learning, 2 months internship. How can I use JobRite to get a job very fast? Get a job as a data analyst, as a business analyst, as a HR analyst, and I'm in the US. All I need to do, I'll go to JobRite, okay? So jobrite.ai. So as I type JobRite, it pops out jobrite.ai and it takes me there. Now, when you get into JobRite, one of the first things you have to do is to subscribe, okay? So you create an account, your username, your password, and you'll be required to upload your CV. Now, based on the CV you have uploaded, jobs that matches that CV would be recommended to you. Okay? But that's not where JobRite does it for you. Now, how do you get the benefit from JobRite? JobRite gives you the opportunity to add filters to the type of jobs you want to be recommended. So here, I want a data analyst role. I want a job that is around 25 miles within a specific region. I want jobs that come with H1B sponsorship. I want jobs that have Excel, Power BI, SQL. Okay. I want it to be remote. I can specify all of this by simply clicking on filters. You see all the things you can select: work mode, remote, on-site, hybrid. Experience level, you can select all these different filters. H1B, work authorization, you select that. If you have a specific industry, select. Specific set of skills, select. Is there a skill you want to exclude? Select that. All right. And that's one of the beauties, but it doesn't stop there. Now I want to ensure that any job I apply to, I meet or I match that job by a specific percentage. And JobRite does that for you. So I would see different jobs: 66% match, 62, 74. And this is where I start to tailor my CV to the jobs before I apply. So I'll take the CV I have, I'll see where I lack or I currently have a gap. Experience is 100%, skills 46%, industry experience 44%. So industry experience is a challenge, skills is also a challenge. So if I click on this particular job, I'll see where there are gaps and I'll go back and tailor my CV. Remember, your CV review, CV optimization is one of the core things you do with us at Tenalytics. So now you know how to tailor. So you look at job requirement and then you tailor your CV and re-upload before you go ahead and apply. But I want to start by tailoring because that will take a lot of time. I want to apply to the jobs that matches my CV at the moment. So all I need to do is at the top right corner where I have recommended, I'll simply click on that and select top matched. So show me the jobs that matches my CV the highest. So I click on that and I'll see those jobs. Okay, so 90%, 83%, 80%. So for a 90% job, I can go ahead and apply to that job. Okay, so if I click on it, I'll see the different skills. What do they need for me to apply to this role? Strong experience in SQL, experience in data analysis and business intelligence, familiarity with Power BI, Tableau, experience with Microsoft Excel, attention to detail, and that's pretty much it. All the skills I have right here, I'm going to learn all the skills for me to get that job. I would learn it and even learn more. And that's the beauty of using a platform like JobRite. Okay, so on JobRite, I can check for different jobs. This is 83%. I want to bring it up to 85 to 90% before I apply. Okay, so I can click to see the requirements of this particular job. They want somebody with 2+ years experience. They want you to use a visualization tool like Power BI, Tableau. I have Power BI, I have Tableau, so I don't have any problems. SQL, I have SQL. Ability to write clear, maintainable, extensive code in SQL. I have all these skills. I can go ahead and apply, but I'll first of all cover the areas that gives me the 83%, which is industry experience and the experience level. So I'll tailor the CV and I'll go ahead and apply again. Now, if you look at the technologies required, anybody on the call today, over 200+ people that joined, within the space of 6 months, can learn all these skills and apply to this job. Every single one of you, even if you're not interested in data analytics, you can learn the skills, apply to this job, and get this job as a data analyst, getting a salary of $91,000 to $120,000 per annum. And that's how you start to understand the skills for you to learn and how to get into this career path. You have the data scientist, you want to start with statistics. A lot of people start with Python. If you want to become a data scientist and you start with Python, you're making a mistake. It's like building a house, but starting from the roof. You want to start with the foundation and build your way up. So you start with statistics, go to forecasting and predictive analytics using Excel. Tableau for data analytics, SQL, structured query language, Python for your exploratory data analysis, your machine learning, and computer vision. There was a gentleman that talked about computer vision earlier. I'll show you some of the projects that our students have worked on, computer vision related projects. Let's search for that very. Let me see if I can find any computer vision analytics. Okay, so I'll show you a computer vision project that anybody who joins our data science program would get to work on. Yeah, so this is, okay, let me look for and see, click on posts. Okay, so this is one of them. This is Adeshola. Adeshola joined our data science program, and you see that below is one of my projects with analytics. This is a pose detection program. So it detects your pose. It sees where your eyes are, where your nose is, your arms, and your torso. All right. So this is Adesola, who knows Adeshola, who knew nothing in data science before joining us. So you can see her dancing. She built this program herself. You can see Kemisola. Kemisola joined our program. You see Kemisola saying special thanks to Efemena Adeza. And this is my pose detection program with Tenalytics. And you see a couple of others. This is John and so many others. This is Ifoma building a hand detection program. Okay. This is Abdurrahman and so many other professionals. And you see the amazing stuff they've been able to build. So when you look at the technology that unlocks your mobile phone, you take your iPhone, it unlocks and you put it in front of you and it unlocks the phone. It is a computer vision program that is driving that technology. And those are the type of things you'd learn in the data science program. You'd learn GitHub for version control, ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot, AI for data science, and Microsoft Fabric. Again, the timeline, just like the other programs, are similar. 8 months, 6 months in class, 2 months internship. Then you move to the financial analytics. And this is where you have data analytics combined with finance. Again, you don't need any experience to get into any of these programs. You learn the skills from scratch, you work on projects, and you build your skills to the point where you apply and land jobs. So you learn the data analytics skills, first of all, problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL. These are your data skills. Then you learn the financial analysis aspects of becoming a financial analyst, commercial analyst, financial planning, and analysis professional. You'd learn accounting fundamentals, financial analysis, financial modeling, valuation, sensitivity and scenario analysis, and AI for financial analytics using Charts GPT. The timeline, similar to the other programs, 6 months in class, 2 months internship. It doesn't matter where you are. There's a class that fits your time zone. Saturdays are for your live classes. Every other day, you are on the LMS. Then you have the HR analysts. Just like the financial analysts, the HR analysts are data analysts with a focus on HR data. Financial analysts are data analysts focusing on financial records, financial data. So as a HR analyst, you learn your data skills, problem solving, Excel, Power BI, SQL. Amaka Naji, that got a job with Sask Energy as a HR data analyst, completed the HR analytics program. She learned problem solving, she learned Excel, she learned Power BI, she learned SQL, she learned HR analytics and performance evaluation, HR metrics and lifecycle, analysis and dashboarding, collaboration and report automation, building your case and creating action, and Chat GPT for HR analytics. And it doesn't matter where you are, you join a class 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for those in the UK, Europe, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time for those in the US, Canada. 6 months learning, 2 months internship. Last but not the least, you have the cybersecurity program. And this is where, as a cybersecurity professional, I'm in Canada, I want to apply to a job in cybersecurity. All I have to do, I can simply go to a platform like Workopolis. And let's check Workopolis very quickly. Workopolis, Job Boom, built in are your platforms for those in Canada. I shared that earlier, but let's go to Workopolis. Okay, workopolis.com, fantastic platform. All I need to do, I'm going to select cyber security. Okay, cyber security, remote. You don't want to select any particular province, or you can if you want to. Click on search, and you'd see different jobs pop up. Network security analyst, cloud security architect, incident response consultant, senior IT architect, and so on, security analyst, vulnerability management, and so on and so forth. Okay. And you can start to look at the requirements and you go ahead and apply. Okay. So for this particular job, network security analyst, the job responsibility, identifying and implementing best practices, you do that about 40%. Vulnerability and pen testing, okay, you do that about 15%, which means this role would come up with a little bit of penetration testing and ethical hacking. And our program covers three key areas in cybersecurity: governance, risk, and compliance, penetration testing and ethical hacking, and security operations center analysts, SOC analysts. Okay, so Workopolis gives you so many type of jobs you can apply to. You can specify by province, but here I just said remote. I want remote jobs. This particular one is in Edmonton, in Alberta, and I can simply apply to this job. I can also search if I want to be a little bit more specific. Let's search for SOC and let's see if anything comes out. SOC analyst. Okay, that's security operations center analyst. All right, so we see just a few jobs pop out. I can click on one of them and I can apply to one of these jobs. This was posted about 4 days ago. All right, I can also search for GRC as a governance, risk, and compliance analyst, and you'd see so many other roles pop up: IT GRC specialist, and so on, security governance and risk compliance specialist. And these are jobs you can also apply to in Canada. All right. So in our cybersecurity program, you'd learn the overview of the cybersecurity roles and technologies, information security principles, risk management, introduction to network security, threats and vulnerabilities, threat detection and incidents response, SOC roles, that's your SOC roles, Security Operations Center roles and responsibilities, log analysis. You'd learn intelligence, the threat intelligence lifecycle, incidents response, open source intelligence gathering, malware analysis, vulnerability scanning and network reconnaissance, exploitation techniques, governance and compliance frameworks, and so on. All the different areas that would give you the ability to apply to jobs in GRC, SOC, and penetration testing, pen testers. All right. You can apply to jobs in these three key areas. Again, the timeline is pretty much similar to the other programs: 6 months learning, 2 months internship. So the question is, how can I start today? Just like all the other professionals you've seen, too many of them, and I'll show you where you have access to all the videos, listening to professionals that have done it before, and how you can also do the same. They started from somewhere. They started in a session like this. If you had listened to Amaka, she joined, she saw an Instagram ad, she clicked on it, joined a WhatsApp group, joined a session like this, decided to see, oh, let me see how it is. Let me test it. Let me have a first try. She joined the first class and she was glad that she took that decision. Few months down the line, Amaka is currently a HR data analyst with Sask Energy and so many other professionals that have gone the same route. So how can I start today? We have a cohort starting on the 10th of May. In a couple of weeks, we have a new cohort starting. The cohorts that started in April started on the 6th of April or thereabouts, if I'm correct. 5th of April. Okay. So the April cohort started on the 5th. That was last week, Saturday. The next cohort in May starts on the 10th of May. And I have an amazing discount for those who want to get started. All right. And I'll show you how you can start. Get access to all the different support services, your CV, your LinkedIn, your mentorship, and everything we've discussed. So, for those interested in starting across any of the programs we've discussed today, the full amount to start is $900, right? But we have an amazing discount where rather than paying 900, you have a 20% off and you get to pay just $750 to get started. And to even make it flexible and easier for people to join, you can make your payments in 5 installments, $150 every month for the next 5 months. So you get started, you get into class, and you make your first payments to become one of the few that will take advantage of the discount, because the discount is not available to everyone. It's available to everyone. It's also available to those that are ready to start. All right. So the discount is available to the first 20 people to register. We opened the discount up last week at the beginning of the new month, and in less than 3 days all the slots were gone, and people requested and they recommended, they suggested that we bring back the discounts for those who would like to register. So we brought the discount again for the first 20 people interested in getting started from today's session. I'll show you how to get started. I'll show you how to select the program, and then we'll take Q&A questions, and I'll answer your questions for the next couple of minutes before we call it a day. So I'm on the call today. Adeza, I want to get my journey started. I'm in the UK. I want to get a visa sponsored job. I'm in the US, like Pavel, who got a job. I also want to get a job. Or I'm in Canada. Like I'm currently in Alberta. I'm in Ontario. I want to land a job. How do I start? All you need to do, my colleagues would also share this in the chat. You can also reach out to any of our team members. What you want to do is click on this link, and it takes you to the enrollment center. When you get to the enrollment center, what do you do from there? So I'll show you what you need to do. You select the program you're interested in, and from there, you get started. Okay. So I'm just going to wait for this to pop up, and then I'll show you how to secure the discounts, one of the first 20 people to register, and then you get started. Okay. So you're interested in the Agile Project Management Program or the Business Analysis Program. You select the program you're interested in. See, I'm interested in Agile Project Management. I click on that, and it takes you to the enrollment center for that particular program. Now, all I need to do is select the number of payments I would like to make. You can make your payments in one full installment. Okay, so 9 slots are already gone from the Agile Project Management. We have 11 slots left. All right. So I want to make my payments in dollars, for example. I don't want to pay in pounds, or I want to pay in pounds, or in Canadian dollars. I want to pay in Naira. I want to pay in South Africa Rand. You have the opportunity to select any currency. So if I want to make my payments in US dollars, I come in here, USD, I select, okay? So I'll see the payments in dollars. Now, I have the discounts. The discount is available to me as long as I'm one of the 11 people registering for Agile Project Management. So what do I do? If I go ahead and make a one-time payment, rather than paying the 750, which is already discounted, I get to pay just 700. So I get extra $50. or if I make my payment in 2 installments of 350, I also get an extra $50 discount. Instead of paying 750, I get to pay 700. Or I want to do the 5 monthly payment. So I come in here, I do the 5 installments, $150 every month for the next 5 months. So I click on that and I click on secure your seat. The moment you click on secure your seat, you would see the timeline of your payments. Okay. But say I want to make payments in pounds. Again, all I need to do is change this to GBP. You see the British pound, and you can make your payments 1 installment, 2 installment, 3, 4, or 5, depending on your preference. So 5 monthly payments, I click on secure your seat. So you'd see I make my first payment today, £123. My second payment comes in May, third payment in June, July, August. So by August, I'm done with my monthly payments and I'm well on my way to becoming an agile project manager. So I click on proceed and this takes me to the payment. So I enter my name, I enter my email, my phone number, and I click on pay for product. Okay, I enter my card details and I click on confirm payment. The moment I confirm my payments, I would have secured my discounts. Number one, I would get an automated receipt into my email to show confirmation of payments. And I also get redirected to fill a form, okay, a registration form. The link to the registration form would also get sent to your email just in case I've made my payments. Maybe I cannot complete the form right now. I want to complete it tomorrow on a Sunday, for example. So the link also gets sent to the email you've provided. So once you've done this, you've secured your discounts. On the 10th of May, your class would commence. All right. I'll show you what the form looks like. And for those who might have some commitments in the month of May, so maybe you can't start on the 10th of May, you want to start in June. We have another cohort starting on the 7th of June. Your advantage is if I secure my discounts now, I can defer to start in June. But how do I do that if I don't have time to start in May because I have 1 or 2 commitments? So this is the form you get. It gets sent to you. You get redirected after payment confirmation. The link also gets sent to your email. You fill all the forms, you click on next, enter all the details, what type of payment, first payment of or first installment or full payment. First installment, you click on next. So you pretty much is intuitive. You pretty much just click on next, 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 and it takes you to where you can select when you want to start. Okay. And I'll show you how to do that shortly. So you enter your first name, your last name, your email, gender, click on next. Terms and conditions. You can reach out to any of my colleagues. You have any questions, you can send an email to inquiries@10analytics.io, admission@10analytics.io. You can speak to any of my colleagues, Shay, Lydia, Lori, send us a WhatsApp. Somebody would respond to you. Click on next, payment details, the dates, select the dates. I made payments when? On the 12th of April. Select that, upload a screenshot of the payments, click on next, next. Now, for some people, you're not entirely sure of the program to go for. You are thinking, should I do data analytics? Do I do business analysis, agile project management? If you're sure of the program you are interested in, all you have to do is click on that. Okay. I'm interested in data engineering. Click on it. Now, I'm not sure. I'm contemplating between 2 programs, but I want a clarity session. I want somebody to sit down with me. I want somebody to walk me through based on my experience or something like that. All you need to do is select, I need to speak to a professional. I would organize a clarity session for you in the coming week. We'll sit down with you, listen to your experience, listen to your background. The advantage is you would have secured your discount already. So by the time you are convinced between data science and data analytics, which one do I go for? You've already secured your discounts. All right. So you select, I need to speak to a professional. If you're not sure, click on next. When you want to start, do you want to start on the 10th of May? Do you want to start on the 7th of June? And you get to select that here. Okay. So what cohorts do you intend to start? Okay. So you can select 10th of May. That's the very next cohort starting next. And then you can defer to 7th of June, depending on your availability or preference. Once you complete this, your country of residence, we will get all your details and organize for you to start based on your preference. Or you selected, I need to speak to a professional, we organize a clarity session for you. Remember, the discount is for the first 20 people to get started. Okay, I'm going to take questions now. We got into the Alberta Catalyzer program last year, and that's me right there. This is a program organized by the government of Alberta for innovative startups looking to provide fantastic value to their customers. That's me. And that's Efemena, the co-founder of Tenalytics. Also, we got our accreditation from the American Council of Training and Development in the US as well. So if you click on that link, it takes you to the website where you can see the accreditation of Tenalytics by the American Council, the ACTD. Okay, the discount is for the first 20 people from today's session. So there's never been a better time to get started than today. So I'm going to take questions before we call it a day. All right, I'll take questions before we call it a day. Harry's asking, are certificates issued? Absolutely. You get certificates once you are done. So what qualifies you to get a certificate? You must have completed your capstone project, submitted the capstone project, and do a presentation. Your ability to complete the capstone project and show that you know what you've done and the quality of the work you've submitted qualifies you for a certificate. Then you move to the internship once you've done that. Can I combine data engineering? Which can I combine with data engineering to make me more relevant? You don't need to combine anything else with data engineering. Data engineering itself is an extensive, robust career path. Okay, so you don't want to combine one with another, data engineering with something else. I don't know how intelligent, it doesn't matter how intelligent you are, you can't even do two at the same time because each program is immersive and you need to do projects, you make presentations, solve case studies, and so on and so forth. Okay. So I would recommend you do one and then you combine it with another one. You can finish one and then start another. That's the recommendation I would give. So if you start with data engineering, you complete the data engineering program, that's Temitope. You can then go for data science. So when you combine data engineering and data science, you can apply to roles like analytics engineering. You can apply to roles like BI engineering, business intelligence engineering, not business intelligence analyst this time around. So that's what I can recommend. You want to get a job as a BI engineer, you can go for data engineering. Once you're done with that, you can go for data science to add to those skills. Issa is asking, for people with limited stay time, is it possible to get visa jobs before ending the program? So it depends on how long you have to stay or how long you have on your visa. Okay, we've had people getting jobs months. Go back to, I'll show you a couple of professionals very quickly because there are so many more success stories. I couldn't highlight all of them. Abigail was a care worker. Okay, she joined our business analysis program. Today she's a business analyst. Abisola is in the UK. Abisola got a job as a machine learning engineer after joining our full stack data science program. She got this job 1 month after joining us. So you'll be wondering, how did Abisola get a job a month after joining? So Abisola had knowledge in Python. Abisola's problem was she didn't perform during interviews. She didn't know how to answer questions to convince the interviewers that she was the best for the job. So she came to us, she joined our data science program, brushed up on her skills a little bit, but mentorship and interview prep got Abisola a job just a month after joining us. And there's a link for you to listen to Abisola's journey. Let me see if I can, there's anybody else I can highlight very quickly. There are a couple. This is Michael got a job as a data engineer after completing our program, the data engineering program. Muideen lived in Ibadan, Nigeria. He got a job working remotely with BBX in the UK. He got this job just 2 months after completing his training with us. You have someone, you have Sonia, you have Idris at DBC. Idris got a job with Jaguar Land Rover as a data engineer working in Coventry with Jaguar Land Rover after completing our data engineering program. Then he moved to another role as a senior analytics engineer. All right. He got this job even before he completed his training with us. So, to the gentleman who asked the question, it depends. Some people get their jobs after, a few months after. We've had instances where even 6 months after, before you land the job. But you also have so many instances where you get a job even before you are done, a few months before you are done, or a few months after you are done. All right. What I always advise, we had to send somebody back. She had paid for the training, but we had to refund her. And the reason why we refunded was simple. She had joined the program and that was sometime in October last year, 2024. She was on a post-study visa in the UK and her visa was expiring in December. Okay, so she had just October, November, December, and she didn't have experience in career path. So the question is, how do you want to, learn a skill with that type of pressure within 3 months, even less than 3 months, because the visa was expiring in December. So she must get that job early December or before the end of November. But we had to refund her and tell her that, look, we can't work with you. You're working with a very short timeline and it's not practical. You might get the job, you might not. But the chances of you not getting the job is far higher than you landing that job. So a lot of people make this mistake. They're doing their masters, they wait until they're done with their masters, and then they realize, oh, I have to apply for post-study. But I could have been applying, learning the skills while doing my masters. And before I'm done or before I complete my masters, I would have learned the skills. I would have been applying to jobs. And it's possible I could have gotten that job. And there is somebody who did that. Her name is Ikmat. Ikmat got 2 or 3 offers before she completed her masters. This amazing lady right here, Ikmat. Ikmat was doing her masters. Before then, she was a full-time stay-at-home mom. She got about 2 or 3 offers while she was doing her masters and doing our training at the same time. And by the time she completed the training, she had gotten her offer. So just before she finished her masters, she had gotten an offer with the NHS. And as she was wrapping up, she was starting that job. Okay, maybe before we wrap up, I'm going to play Ikmat's video so you get to listen. But what's the story? The moral of the story is, don't wait until it is the last minutes before you start to learn the skills or you start to apply to jobs. It doesn't help. Okay. Would there be replays or recording? Absolutely. Abdul Hamid Adekunle, all your live classes are also recorded. Okay. So just in case, even your mentorship sessions, if you miss any session, all you have to do, log into the classroom and you'd see all the sessions and the links for you to watch the recording. Or if it's a live class, case study on Agile, you missed this class on a Saturday, all you have to do, come back here, click on the link, and it takes you to the class. You can play and see exactly what happened in class on that particular day that you missed the class. And you have lifetime access to the materials. So even when you are done, you still have access to the platform, both the live platform and also the learning management system. Are the certificates recognized? Absolutely. I just showed you our accreditation from the American Council of Training and Development, and all the people that have gotten jobs in the UK, in the US, in Canada. It would have been impossible for them to get those jobs if the certificates are not recognized. More importantly, certificates mean nothing in the grand scheme of things of landing the job. Okay, so perhaps you joined a bit late, Elizabeth, but competence over credentials. If you are somebody who puts certificates in front, or I have certificates in this, certificates in that, you are likely not even going to get into the interview. Okay, so what you want to show, you want to showcase your skills and your experience. All right, how do you showcase your experience? You must have a portfolio to show that you've done this before and I can do it for you. All right, but our certificates are 100% recognized. To answer your question directly, keen to enroll in the BA business analysis program, but what program support do you have for someone who has limited time on a visa, less than 6 months? Less than 6 months is pushing your luck, Ada. Okay. What I'll say you can do is you can have an accelerated pathway. All right. And how do you do that? In your classroom, the business analysis in the LMS, once you go to the LMS, you have all the materials right there for you from week 0 all the way down to the 6 months of learning material. So you have that right there. So you have access to this and you can watch this every single week and you are fast in class. But what this means is you'll be learning in a self-paced manner. You're not following the class anymore. You're learning faster and moving faster than the class. And for every single program, you join a WhatsApp group. So if you have a question, your class facilitator, your class coordinator would be there. And there's a participant relationship manager in all your classrooms. And you have the opportunity to ask questions. So that's what I would recommend for someone like you, who has just 6 months. Within the space of 3 to 4 months, all the skills you need, you would have gotten them. Typically, especially for a business analyst, within the space of 4 months, you'd have gotten the skills. So you'd have roughly about 2 months to put in applications. Okay. So I want you to think about this before you make that decision, Ada. And for you to land a job, especially in the UK, from my experience, to apply to a minimum of 267 jobs. Okay, that's the average. To get an offer, you must have applied to 267 jobs. It would give you roughly about 10 to 15 interviews. And after the 10 to 15 interviews, you're likely going to get one job offer. Okay, so because you have limited time, you also have to be very strategic. You can join the class, go ahead of the class, watch the videos, understand the videos, ask questions, engage your facilitator, and then you start to apply. So on the 3rd month after joining, you join in April, you join on the 10th of May, June, July. By July, you would have updated your CV, revamped your CV. You would have also completed your LinkedIn optimization. So you start applying to jobs from July after you've joined in May. So the reason why we give a 3-month window is so that you would have learned a substantial part of the program. You'd have completed your Excel, Power BI, SQL as a business analyst. You'd have moved into understanding the business analyst roles, stakeholder management, process mapping, and so on. You'd have completed those parts. and then you'd get your CV and your LinkedIn within the space of about 3 months. So by July, you can start applying to jobs. Okay. I hope that answers your question, Ada. I have 10 months left. That's enough time, Isa. Too much time left. 10 months is not limited. That's enough time to land a job. Okay. The earlier you start, the better. I thought you had like 2 months or 3 months. 10 months is a very, very long time. Very, very long. I've trained as an accountant and recently achieved my MBA. Is business analysis a good program? Yeah, it is. Absolutely. All the programs I listed are absolutely phenomenal. All right. But if I look at what you've done as an accountant, I'll be tilted towards financial analytics a bit more, Benedicta. All right. Because you already have strong functional knowledge and experience in accounting. So that gives you an edge somewhat if you add data analytics to that, and that gives you the ability to apply to not just data analyst roles, but financial analyst, commercial analyst, financial planning and analysis, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that will be my recommendation to you. After Agile project management, what next? Agile project management is pretty much a standalone career path in itself. Okay, so what next? You apply to a job as a project manager, project management officer, a project manager, an agile project manager, an agile coach, a scrum master. You can apply to so many different career, job roles within that career path. If you want to upskill at that point, upskilling would then depend on the organization you are trying to get into. Okay. I always worked as a data analyst, but why did I upskill to data science? I was back in Nigeria and I needed to work for companies um, that used Python. So that was when I shifted from data analytics to data science. So upskilling is not usually just naturally progressive. You want to look at your next career journey and you make the decision from there. Can I get a job in Canada from Nigeria as a data engineer with sponsorship? Yes, you can. It takes a lot of efforts and it takes a lot of time to do that. But the direct answer to that, Temitope, is yes. There are so many people that have done it with us. Some of them were already coming into, let me see if I can show you one of them very quickly. I just made payments with debit card, but the payment option was not included. Well, debit or credit, it really doesn't matter how you made payments. Okay. So all you need to do is select first payment, full payment of first installment. All right. And that's pretty much it. It doesn't matter if it's a credit card or a debit card. That's from IE, who sent me a direct message. AJ is asking, when you start, can you use Tenalytics as a reference for a job? That's exactly what I said. I've explained so far in terms of showcasing your experience, AJ. All the people that have gotten jobs, all of them. Let me highlight one of them and I'll showcase to you. I think I showed you Busola earlier. Okay. Let me show you Sonia. Sonia got this job after she moved from Nigeria. She went for her master's, but let me show you Sonia very quickly and how Sonia used Tenalytics as well. Sonia. Amada. And Sonia recommended her brother to us. Her brother also landed a job as well. Sonia started with EAT, or she moved to a new company, Mencap. Okay, this was recent. I'm not even aware. She's currently a people partner. She got this job as a HR. She started a job as HR analyst. Then she moved to HR business partner. But before then, she was a HR analyst with Tenalytics. Okay, HR analyst with Tenalytics. So when you do that on your CV and on your LinkedIn, we provide you with a reference. Okay. And the recruiter would reach out to us. I'll show you what a reference looks like. Just give me 1 second. And I'll show you what a reference looks like and how recruiters reach out So the reference looks like typically. So this is a reference from an employer saying that this is the Cumberland Council in the UK. Please find attached reference request for, of course, I just blotted out the name for privacy. Yeah, so that's one. This is another reference for an Olufumilayo. Olufumilayo had applied to an ERP, business intelligence and reporting analyst. Dear Mr. Deza Suleiman Oluwafumilayo. So they send this to us. We click on this link, we fill the form, and we complete the reference on your behalf. And there are quite a number of them. This is for this is for Timmy. Timmy applied for a position as a senior finance assistant after completing our financial analytics program. The company would send what? A reference. We click on that, we fill the reference on your behalf, and quite a number of them like that. Okay, so this time around, your internship is done with Amdari. So you can list both Tenalytics and Amdari at the same time. So it showcases that you have not just experience with one company, but with multiple organizations. All right. Let me see if I can take more questions. I'll wrap up in the next 3 minutes. I haven't learned data analytics elsewhere. I can visualize using Power BI, Tableau, and Excel. I can write advanced SQL queries, and I'm good with Python. Is it possible to come on board for the 2 months internship? In the mic, what you can do is, so let me see. I want to see my colleagues on the call. Ubong. Okay, in the mic, this is what I'll suggest that you do, okay? Send us a message to @enquiries@tenalytics.io. If you've also filled the attendance form, that would be good for you. But let me project that on the screen so you have access to that. Okay, so in the mic, send us a message at enquiries@tenalytics.io, or a WhatsApp message to this number. Okay, so would onboard you into our internship program with Amdari. So you start your internship immediately, and your internship would be a minimum of about 3 months. So you can select if you want 3 months or 6 months. If you want a 6-month internship, you can extend. It's a bit more expensive than the 3 months. Start from that in the mic. So, but send us a message, all right, and one of my colleagues would reach out to you and show you how to get started with that. So yes, if you don't want to join the training itself, you have training, you have the skills. Amdari, you start immediately your internship with Amdari. If you're already in the UK, why do you need visa sponsored job? Can you explain? Okay, very good. I lived in the UK myself, but I was a student. When you go to the UK, it depends on how you've gone. If you're a student, you have a student visa. If you are done with school, you have the opportunity to apply for a post-study visa. The post-study visa is additional 2 years where you get to work for 2 years. And within the 2 years, you want to secure sponsorship so you can stay back in the country. Because every time you are in the UK or any other country, somebody is sponsoring you. While you were a student, your university was sponsoring. So when you're done with school, the university is no longer sponsoring you. When you're on a post-study visa, you're on sponsorship from the Home Office. When your post-study visa elapses within the space of 2 years, if you don't have sponsorship from any company, you would have to leave the UK. Okay, so that's why you need visa sponsored jobs. I don't know if that explains. Do you have sessions for IT support? No, we don't. And that's because IT support is a career path that would, in the next 5 years, might no longer exist, according to the World Economic Forum. New technologies, agentic AI would overtake so many roles, especially support roles, customer service roles would no longer exist, or would exist sparingly simply because of new technologies and the emergence of AI, agentic AIs, and so on and so forth. So you don't want to get into a career path that's going to die in the next few years. And that was why I started with the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs reports. Just Google and you'd find it. Or you can simply just, once you fill the attendance form, you're going to get my slides. Can I speak to a professional to assist in choosing the best for me? Absolutely, you can, Damilola. However, if you've not secured your discounts, the chances that you'd meet the discounted fee would be very, very slim, but you can. Okay. Let me see. There's so many questions. I'm not sure I can answer every single questions. My Saturday are occupied due to job commitments. How do I cope? If you don't have time every single Saturday, that will be a problem for you. Okay. What I can advise is, or what we usually advise is, you can watch the recording and always join something we call the drop-in session. Okay, and I think I'm going to end after showing you this. So in every single classroom, this, for example, you see something called the drop-in session. What is a drop-in session? If you remember back in high school, for those who were in boarding school, you have something called prep. Your prep session is for revision, where you go back to class to revise what was done the previous day or that same day. So drop-in session is like your prep, where if you've missed a class on Saturday or you want to interact with your facilitator, your trainer in a smaller sized class, maybe 5 of you, 4, 6, depending, you have the drop-in session. It happens every Wednesday evenings. Okay, if you're in the UK, Wednesday, 9 p.m. your time, 9 to 10 p.m., that's when the drop-in session holds. So if I've missed a class on Saturday, all I need to do is I'm going to go to the class recording. I watch my class recording. I click on the recording. I watch. I see what happened in class. I listen to the questions and so on. Then I'm going to join the drop-in session where I'll get to interact with my trainer, ask questions. I'm going to be brought up to speed on what was done in the class that I missed. The drop-in session is also recorded as well. That's what I advise you to do, or that's what you can do. But that would be more difficult for you because you would miss the live classes. There is something just about attending the live class where you can also ask your question in real time. Okay. But if you are somebody who is disciplined, you would ensure that you watch all the class recordings. You don't, because you missed the class does not mean that you won't watch the recording. Then the best place for you to start is get registered. If you miss any class on a Saturday, watch the recording. After watching the recording, also join the drop-in session, which is your makeup class, essentially, and that would get you all through. How long is on the job support? It's for 1 month. So if you get a job, there was a gentleman who got a job with Cognizant and was in a project that was a data migration project, and he found it a bit difficult. We worked with him for 1 month on that project, and within a month, it was enough time for him to understand all the things he needed to do, and he's still thriving on that role. So if you get a job, you need our support to have a soft landing. We work with you for a month, thereabouts. Dami wants to have a one-on-one. So Dami, just send a message in your WhatsApp group, tell your class coordinator, and you would be able to send me an email and would get to interact. Can people who have job offers months after the program still come back for CV review? No, the CV review is once and we show you how to do it. So that's the beauty. If you have somebody reviewing your CV every time, you don't learn anything. So we review it for you, we give you a standard CV, and then we show you how to review. So that when you're applying to jobs subsequently, you don't need to wait for somebody to review for you. You can review it yourself, optimize your CV, do the job matching, and go ahead and apply to those jobs. Okay. All right. So there are so many questions coming up. You want us to answer all these questions, make sure you join the clarity session, and my colleagues will be there to address every single questions that you have. If you've gotten value for your time today, type in yes into the charts. It's been a long day spent typing a yes into the chat if you've gotten value for your time today. Fantastic. I'd love to see every one of you get started. This is the best time to start. £123 to get started is roughly what you do for a day and a half. For those working in the warehouse, £10 per hour. You work for 8 hours, work for another 10 hours. You have the money to get started. What you need to get that job in a progressive career path is just the step to actually get started. Okay, so procrastination steals your dream away. There are so many people that have been here. They've joined us ever since we started in the year 2020, and they've still never gotten to start. So get started, and would love to work with you. So for those starting on the 10th of May, I look forward to working with every single one of you. Again, if you have questions, I'm going to show you where you can get access to all our content, all our materials. All you have to do, go to YouTube. All right. Go to YouTube. You want to watch all the videos on people that have gotten jobs, they've been able to transition. All you have to do, go to YouTube, search for Tenalytics. Okay, go to YouTube, search for Tenalytics, follow Tenalytics, subscribe. So you see the Tenalytics, subscribe to Tenalytics, click on that, and it takes you to our page. When you get to the Tenalytics page, you'd have access to tons and tons of materials over the last 4 years. All right. You have our Tenalytics alumni job success stories. Abdul Kawi got a job as a financial analyst. You listened to Amaka the other time. You listened to Pavel, who came back to speak about how he was able to land a job after completing the program. You listen to amazing professionals at Adetayo, Hope, who also thought certification was all she needed to land a job, only to realize I couldn't get a job. She joined Tenalytics. 3 months after, she got a job as a project manager. Click on alumni job success stories. It seems to be, yeah, you click on that. It brings you to the alumni job success. Listen to all these amazing professionals who have done what you're trying to do. Okay, follow us across all our platforms on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, Facebook, our website. Chat with us. If you go to the enrollment center, you have the opportunity to chat with any of my team members. Okay, somebody would respond to you. You want to go through the nitty-gritty of the brochures, the program, all the key learning areas, you can get access to that from here. You can read the terms and conditions right here, and then you go ahead and make payments. If you want to reach out to any of my colleagues, you can do that calling any of these numbers. Somebody would respond to you. All right. We're going to call it a day at this point. Time has been fast spent, and I'm glad you got value for your time. Thank you very much, everyone. I look forward to starting with you on the 10th of May. And for those starting on the 7th of June, I look forward to working with all of you. Cheers, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.